ירושלים, עיר שווה פיצוץ, הולך במדרחוב, מרגיש כמו קיבוץ, גלויות, 1000 תרבויות, לכל אחד יש אח, ערבים בסדר, חרדים בחדר, וכולם פה קולטים את אלוהים, אחרי את ירושלים דרכה מהר, מיום ליום תל אביב נצתה יותר, חברים עזבו, התקרבו לבוא לשמיים, משעמם, אין ים, מה עכשיו אותה לזיבה, 3 שנים לקח לי לקבל את ההחלטה, רוץ החפצים לתוך המזוודה, מהכפר לעיר בכיוון היריד תל אביב, אני מגיע, באתי להזיע, אתה יחידה, אני נשמע תל אביב, אני מגיע, באתי להזיע, אתה יחידה, אני נשמע.
Ooh, someone called it Don't Mess with Zohan. I was not even aware that Adam Sandler did a movie called Don't Mess with Zohan, where apparently the plot is that an IDF special agent becomes a hairstylist in New York, and this is a song from it, and it's actually pretty catchy. As we know, we're currently in a high-risk, high-alert situation. The flaggers are out. I lost my stream elements after precisely one day of using stream elements, and I don't know why. They're a company from Tel Aviv, so they should be on my side, but Yahweh help us that we're at a disadvantage here. So we're doing a special, as we do. We have not acknowledged that we love the Jewish people and respect the great state of Israel and its independence and its claim and sovereignty over all the land which it currently possesses and controls. But now is a good time to do it because the DMCA's do be a flying. So everyone give me a big Shabbat Shalom in chat. And thank you to this guy on the forum. There's like a mod queue. Like if you join the forum, because we get so many people, like we get like spammers. We get like people just like spamming weed and penis pills on the forum. So there's like a mod queue where you have to like, I'm not going to give the exact metrics because people try to fuck with it to get past it. But your first couple posts when you're brand new are need to be approved. And this guy joins named Majin. And he immediately gets up into the VTuber thread and starts saying like, Shalom, Goyim. I also watch VTubers, and I'm a gamer from Israel. I'm like, oh, great. Now the VTuber, the thread, the gift that keeps on giving, has attracted the Israeli gamer demographic to my website. So I was thinking about this stream. I thought, like, fuck, I need some Hebrew music to kick off my stream correctly. And it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna say hello to this new guy on my site, and say, oh, whatever. And he surprisingly, he wrote me this really long email with like, or a reply with like 20 different songs from like the best songs he could think of in Hebrew, and a lot of them are really good. But as far as like intro music goes, I really like this composition that was made for the Adam Sandler movie, even though I'm sure the movie sucks because it's by Adam Sandler. Very, very, very wholesome moment interacting with the fan zone. Or not the fan zone even. He doesn't know I do podcasts. He just wants to talk about VTubers or whatever. Because apparently they really like anime in Israel. And they're trying to get Japan to like them back. So let me just get into the bit about stream elements real quick. And we'll talk about that. Just right off the bat, this is the stated reason, and what's this is interesting to me, and it's a thing that I've noticed that is sort of recent, is that nowadays it seems like when you get banned from a platform, they don't even like ordain to notice you anymore. It's like you don't get like a message saying like, "Hey, you're banned, and this is why." You just like I didn't even get like notification. It's not even like they didn't justify it to me. They literally didn't even tell me. I had to be told by other people that when they tried to go to tip.matty.live, it went to a 404 page. So it's like they don't even bother to email you anymore saying, hey, you're banned. Never mind actually giving justification for it. The justification they gave me is under broadly paragraph 9.4, prohibited content. You agree that you will not display, post, submit, publish, upload, or transmit a user submission that is unfair or deceptive under the consumer protection laws of any jurisdiction to any jurisdiction. So if it's deceptive under the consumer protection laws of Turkmenistan. It's not allowed. 2, is copyrighted, protected by trade secret, or otherwise subject to third-party proprietary rights, including privacy and publicity rights. And I guess this is like, if I stream and I show this is what they're saying. So if I post something that is patented on my stream, I'm banned. Creates a risk to someone's safety, health, creates a risk to public safety, compromises national security, or interferes with an investigation by law enforcement. 4, impersonates another person. 5, promotes illegal drugs, violates export control laws related to illegal gambling or arms trafficking. Or 6, and here's the big one, is unlawful, defamatory, libelous, threatening, pornographic, harassing, hateful, racially or ethnically offensive, or encourages conduct that would be considered a criminal offense, gives rise to civil liability, violates any law, or is inappropriate. Or 7, involves theft or terrorism. Or 8, is otherwise malicious or fraudulent. So literally any reason whatsoever that you can think of is prohibited. Like, why even go into detail? I guess because it helps. They can say, oh, they violated paragraph 948. They were otherwise malicious. Or I really just love it. They're just drilling into the fucking wall. It's 6 p.m. And it's like, I know that it's not like the people that work here, because why would they be working at 6 p.m.? It's like some asshole in his fucking house. Like, yeah, 6 p.m. is the perfect time to drill into this fucking concrete wall. Just dickheads. And I can't stand it. It never stops. The drilling never fucking stops here. I don't know how I've lasted this long. I completely lost my place because I need like brown noise that I can play in the background. I guess once Ralph starts talking, that'll help. Oh, by the way, I'm using this thing called that Ralph is using now for super chat. If you go to tip.money.live, you'll see the super chats popping up. That's where that's coming from. It is called, I forgot the name of it, Donation Alerts, and it's Russian rant. And I don't even know, and it's broken because Donation Alerts should not be playing. I'll just disable the sound effects real quick. The ones for like $2 should not be playing the effect. But I guess it didn't get set up right. It's Russian, and it charges you correctly if you have like a USD card or a Euro card, but it does not have a way to cash out without PayPal. Unless you're Russian or you have PayPal, it doesn't have a way to cash out. So I don't know what I'm gonna do for that, but I'm gonna have to figure something out. I've asked them if I can cash out with, what's it called? Sorry, I'm fucking with this. Cryptocurrency, but they haven't responded yet. Hopefully I can get cryptocurrency, but we'll see. As far as power chats go, I looked this up. What's his face? The fat man, Ethan. He uses power chats. Nick Fuentes uses power chats, and they use on IB too. But then I went to powerchats. Whatever the fuck, powerchats.live. And it's like the shadiest fucking website I've ever seen. So it's like definitely some one guy's project for this. And then you go to the terms of service, and I think it mentions Yoba by name, like specifically. And it's like, this is not something that I want, because if you go to the actual process of sending people money on this, the process is you have to submit billing details to stop fraud. So like if you want to tip through this, unlike the other sites that are more like established, you don't have to submit billing information. But then like this one does require it. And then like supposedly Lulz, who is like a Baked Alaska's second-hand man, and Nick Fuentes with America First set this up together, is what I heard Nick Fuentes and Baked Alaska talking about, because Lulz had like a meltdown and left Baked Alaska and like spread his anus on camera to fuck with his stream or some shit. So that's like fucked up. And there are streamers out there who are like way more scrupulous to this kind of shit than I am using it. It's like I don't know. I don't trust it. So if it comes down between power chats and nothing, like I'm not gonna tell people submit your fucking billing information to this shit. So I'll just go back to doing Gumroad only and try to get more stuff on there and just push people that way. It was nice to have it would be nice to have consistently the DDoS stuff taken care of, but in these anti-Semitic times where people are flagging down people's shit all the time for no reason, just because, other than that they can, I don't know. So that's the update on the tip stuff. And now I know what everyone's actually tuning in for. Everyone is wondering What is DSP up to? Everyone's sitting with bated breath waiting for that DSP update. Well, let's listen to DSP for a bit.
6 million. Cheese Pizza Rat did a super chat. Says, in my opinion, 6 million is an exaggerated figure. I agree with you. 6 million. That's a pretty interesting number, isn't it? 6 million. 6 million people.
Oh, I see he's doing well. That's not the clip I actually wanted to play all the way through, but I thought I might as well because it made me laugh. So there's this guy, it's called like the Hate Watch Army. He's like a Wings 007 guy for DSP. There's many DSP detractors out there doing videos. His videos are pretty high quality. And to my surprise, DSP has done something rather smart where he has dedicated like an hour or two before his main streams where he just does like his pre-stream rambling, and his video game content is fucking awful, but his pre-stream rambling can be really funny because DSP is like a total midwit, like at best. This guy is between 90 and 100 IQ, right down the middle, the kind of person that you give an accounting degree and then you stick him in an office somewhere and forget about him, and he just handles your taxes in your company. That's like his range. But DSP has this thing where he's just like, he thinks that he has some sort of grand insight. He's like permanently stuck in the middle of that valley where he thinks for whatever reason that he's way more like learned than he is. So he'll sit there for 2 hours and detail in excruciating detail, like way over the top, enumerating everything about some story to explain a point that could be summed up in one sentence. And in this video, he's explaining why he was late. And it's a 30-minute story. It takes him 30 minutes to explain something, which I could sum up in a sentence, but I'm going to kind of scan through it and let him do the explaining, because I find it very funny, and you may not. I haven't played much of DSP, but I hope that everyone else will find his story interesting. So let's start. I already have to skip. There it is. Let's see. I want to go to 525. 25.
Because of this shit. Anyway, today we're going to have a fun streaming day of multiple games. We'll get to the schedule after my story. Okay? Okay.
Okay, I clipped that, and I forgot, like, why did I clip that? And I realized, in 10 seconds, he burps, he coughs, and he snorts. Like, he goes through every phase, like, short of farting into or queefing into the camera. He goes through every phase of, like, gaseous expulsion in a couple of breaths. It's pretty amazing. But he continues.
So, back then, my friends would come over, we'd play Street Fighter together a lot. I was still kind of trying to get back into competitive Street Fighter. At that point, Street Fighter 4 was all the rage, and all my friends were into it, including me. I was trying to get into it and go to tournaments and stuff. And one time I remember, now I very rarely cooked anything complex in my home back then. Being, single, what do I have to cook? Anything complex? I was just cooking for me, so I would rarely cook. When I did, I would make a shitty Cooking with the King video. It would be hilarious, and everyone would make fun of me because I didn't know how to cook, right? Right. Everyone remembers that. So anyway, one time, one of my friends says, I know how to cook, and what I'd like to do is make us all like pork chops. So why don't we go to the grocery store, buy some ingredients, and I'll make us breaded pork chops. We can eat it while we play Street Fighter today. I said, that sounds great to me. That's better than us, ordering out some shitty fast food or whatever. Let's do that. Awesome. So we did so. And I remember we made the pork chops. They were pretty good. And one of the things that we had bought were panko breadcrumbs, okay? I still remember the box, what it looked like. I'm not even kidding. I remember what the box of panko breadcrumbs looked like. So, me being stupid, not knowing anything about food, not knowing how to store it or anything, after we ate, I literally had the box of panko breadcrumbs that I just put right into my cupboard, my upper, cabinets in the kitchen, closed it, and never thought about it ever again. I'm serious. I never gave it another thought. Likely 1 to 2 years later, I'm not exaggerating, yes, 1 to 2 years later, after being a full-time YouTuber, after dedicating all my time to making videos and not giving a thought to anything in that kitchen, one day I start to notice I've got bugs in the kitchen. And they're these little bugs that kind of look like ants, but they're not, and they have wings, but the weirdest thing about them is they're not flying, okay? I don't know what the hell they were. And I start mentioning them. I start noticing them all over the kitchen. Oh, what the fuck is this? So, of course, now I go on a search. Where are these coming from? And I open the cabinet, and I see a ton of them in there, and I start swishing them only to find out they're all infested in the box of panko breadcrumbs, all right? The box was full of them. Apparently, they not only come to eat, but I guess they might have even laid eggs in that cabinet because there was an insane amount of them. The whole cabinet was full of them. So I had to go in there full force with alcohol/cleaning agents and smash and kill a ridiculous amount of insects. It took hours of work. It was absolutely disgusting, of course, to have to get rid of that many. It was very nasty, okay? And after that, I was creeped out, of course. That's you know, a bug. I don't care about a bug here or there. When you get an infestation like that, that's disgusting, right? It's like, fuck, that's really nasty, okay? So this was, you know, again, over a decade ago in my place in Connecticut. Long past history. But I do have, not necessarily a phobia, but, like, I want to keep a clean house now. And ever since then, I've made an honest effort to make sure that my home is clean and doesn't have food and shit lying around. So that way there's no potential that we could get any kind of an infestation of bugs or anything here. In fact, in my home right now. Okay.
I'm going to stop him here.
Anything that I have that's...
So that entire story, 3 minutes long, I have the timestamps. He explains in excruciating detail what his bug and his history, not even what's happening right now, just his history with bug infestations. 10 years ago, he was living with some guys in Connecticut, and his friend wanted to play fighting games with him, and they were playing fighting games, and his friend said, let's get something to eat. But instead of let's going out to eat, I'll cook pork chops. So he said, okay, I'll cook pork chops. So they bought breadcrumbs, right? And then they didn't use them all, and they went into a pantry. So he knows the history of what he was doing, when he was doing, what he was doing with, and then the full history of this box of breadcrumbs that leads up to the infestation of an unknown arthropod, which has wings but yet does not fly. It has wings but cannot fly, and the process of exterminating it. So this is completely superfluous. This is a 3-minute story about an ant infestation that has no fucking point. He then goes on to explain that he cleans profusely. Everything in his home is now in plastic containers. It's not left open. And his backyard is all concrete, so he doesn't know where insects would come from. And then he bought ant spray and sprayed around, and that didn't work. And then he set 6 ant traps, and that didn't work. And now we're 18 minutes into a 27-minute long video, and he starts explaining. I think this is the part where he starts telling a story about the cat that I want to play.
But by the way, this is the first time really ever that we've seen this. I've lived here 8 years. I've never seen really an ant in a house. Let's say there's never been an ant. I guarantee you there has been. But I've never really seen an ant in a house.
Now we're finally on the topic of the ants in his house that have delayed his stream, which has led to a 20-minute long talk. We're at 20 minutes now into this 27-minute long clip, and he's explaining that he has never actually seen ants, so he doesn't know where they come from, but he has more stories to tell about prior infestations.
The only real bug problems I've ever had here, number one year, there was a really bad, those little fruit flies, little red ones. There was a bad situation where they found a place to reproduce in the house, and they laid eggs, and then they were all over. I had to swat and kill a bajillion of them, and then I got rid of them. And then there was another, excuse me. Another thing is spiders. We used to have a bad problem with spiders. Spiders out here in the fall in particular, they can get quite big. Like, I've seen spiders this big, I'm not kidding. That fucking big black spiders. They're not poisonous, thank God. But, yeah, it's kind of creepy when you see giant spiders all over the house. But we haven't really seen that since we got Jasper. I think what it is Jasper takes them out. He sees the baby spider, he gets rid of it, so it never has a chance to grow huge, because I've not seen many spiders since we got Jasper. So, it's a problem. So why was I late to stream? I was literally, with my wife, cleaning the whole downstairs, area. I took everything out of the cupboard, I was squishing ants, and then she took out the mop, the Swiffer mop, and she was cleaning the whole floor, and then she vacuumed, she Swiffered everything, trying to clean up, and hopefully this is not an ongoing problem. Now I got 6 traps out, right? But what I will do, I will take that advice from, I forgot his name and I apologize, I already forgot. He said get the bug spray and spray around the perimeter of the house. I will do that too.
Jasper kills the
absolutely.
blacks.
I'm going to do that because I got to do everything at this point. This is
kills the black spiders.
You got to get rid of it. Can't have ants keep coming in the house for our food and shit especially when there's nothing in here. Like, what are they coming in here for? They're not getting anything. So why do they keep coming back, right?
A normal person. Sorry guys, I was late. There were ants in my cupboard. I had to kill them. DSP, 27-minute long diatribe about his total interactive history with insectoids and also his cat's adventures in killing BBS spiders throughout his home. I don't know. I was listening to this while playing Dead by Daylight, and it was some great background entertainment, and I kept laughing because, like, what a fucking clown. What a clown. So, on that note, of streamers engaging their audience with riveting stories, I would like to walk back and touch on how another friend of the stream, another friend of the podcast, or whatever you call my weekly diatribes, has recently acquired internet fame, and we should take a moment to look at how Peetz is handling being internet famous.
You know what's really bullshit about this? I got people sitting here accusing me of being a pedophile right now. My chat is just absolutely fucking full of people accusing me of being a groomer, a pedophile, child abuser, all this shit. I'm expected to just ignore it. If I say anything at all about any of this shit, then suddenly, somehow, I become the bad guy. So, just leave me the fuck alone.
So he's having a really great time. The decision by Chantal to encourage him to make a YouTube channel and talk about his politics or whatever the fuck was truly a mastermind. Chantal really is on our side, in case anyone didn't believe it before. This is evidence. I have a couple more clips because this boy is wound up tight. This man loves trannies more than you can possibly fucking imagine. And he's a hollering. Sound warning. Like, I'm going to have to edit this in the podcast because it will blow out your speakers. But sound warning if you're a headset user, and this is pretty loud already.
Hey, guess what, Swampy? They fucking don't! They don't have the fucking surgery as kids, Swampy, you fucking jackass. Lying sack of shit. So here's the thing. Florida has now just put out these guidelines about how doctors should handle trans youth. They are straight up, these guidelines would just straight up ban any sort of medical care, but they would also, these guidelines are also include banning social transitioning. They want to ban social transitioning for trans youth. So what these guidelines are doing is saying kids are not allowed to be trans.
Based. God, G-D bless Ron DeSantis, the based Cuban or whatever the fuck, the based Latino governor of Florida. In case you're wondering, what he's ranting about is not just the Don't Say Gay bill. Apparently, Florida also pushed out like some guidelines for how teachers and doctors are supposed to handle children being treated or seen for gender dysphoria, and that includes not reinforcing like, oh, my name's Jack, and I think I'm a girl. Okay, well, we're going to call you Jill and dress you up in a dress now. That's what it's been. I don't know the details on this, but you can just kind of see like his simmering rage when he reads chat. Like he literally cannot control his anger, because to this man, like, you have to kind of imagine what he does day to day. He does not work. He does not have any hobbies. He doesn't have any interests. He doesn't have any friends. He will openly admit this, that he does absolutely nothing all day. He sits in that room, specifically that room, listening to Chantal go, pee, anytime she needs anything, and she doesn't want to sit up, pee, just like scream, like just like that from the distance. Is like, okay, so he's lost his fucking mind, number one. Number two, he goes to Reddit, and he goes specifically Twitter. He's like big on Twitter. If you want to know what those Twitter people are like, the ones who are like always arguing politics on Twitter, this is what they look like. And they sit in like these circles, and they pass information, and they're like, actually, the Florida people are super transphobic. It basically banned being trans, and this is what it says. And they just kind of like share their talking points and reinforce their talking points with one another. And then they never get challenged, because anyone who would get challenged has already been banned. But then he goes to a platform like YouTube, which is less moderated, and specifically the YouTube chats. It's less moderated, and he is dealing with real people who actually disagree with him. And he has no frame of reference to this. And when people hit back and they have their own opinions and they challenge what he says, he literally cannot handle it. It just blows a gasket in his brain. And he just sits there raging, seething at the fact that his intellectual superiority over the common man is being lost on these poor idiots that are trying to argue with him. So, and one other thing. What he's actually arguing about is like hormone blockers. They are also, I think they're trying to stop hormone blockers in Florida, which is great. And there's a catch-22 with this that I think everyone needs to be aware of, everybody listening. You will often hear pro-trans people talking about hormone blockers and how we need to put kids on hormone blockers because if they choose to fulfill their transition as an adult, it helps a lot to not have to go through male puberty if you're trying to look feminine. The funny thing about that, the real catch-22, is that what happens when a man undergoes what's called a penile scrotal flap vaginoplasty, which is actually as excruciating as it sounds. They use your cock and balls to build the new sex organs. They literally Frankenstein that shit, right? I'm sure a lot of people are aware of this. And that requires cock and balls. That requires schmeat to grind up and make these new parts. Well, part of what makes that schmeat for this surgery is puberty. You have boy anatomy until you go through male puberty, and then you have full-size genitalia, right? Well, if you don't undergo your puberty, you don't have the schmeat. So when you put a little boy on hormone blockers and say, okay, you're going to be a girl now, when he comes of age and desires to have sexual relations like a woman would, they literally cannot make this vagina for them. And that's what happened with Jazz Jennings. Jazz Jennings got put on hormone blockers, and now they're fat. They're fat because they can't have sex. And they have a little boy penis, and that little boy penis cannot be used to make a neo-vagina through penile scrotal flap vaginoplasty. So until they can 3D print this shit, there's no point. Like, I guess they could drill a hole into them, and it would just be like a senseless dead hole. But like, you might as well just have anal sex. And the catch 33 to that is, if you're gonna like, there's no point to that because, okay, let's say that you're a gross person and you want to have sex with a tranny. Chances are, if you are that kind of person, you want a she-male, which has like a man's penis. They don't. I would hope that these people are not attracted to like little boy penis. So if you go on hormone blockers, you are firmly in this space where nobody finds you attractive. You cannot get the neo-vagina. You cannot pass as like even like a she-male to tranny chasers. You appeal to no one. You are a fat Jazz Jennings lesbian. And you can't have ejaculations. You cannot have natural sex. And people who would be attracted to she-males are not going to find you attractive because you don't have a penis. You have like a little boy penis. Truly, like, I would, unironically, I would not wish this on anyone. I would not wish this on any person I can think of to grow up in this horrific, like, no man land of attractive oblivion. like I don't know, being castrated is probably like people have like nullification fetishes. That's probably not as bad. But this is what Peetz wishes for people. Peetz wishes this on people that he supposedly likes. And then he proudly proclaims that nobody regrets this.
Fucking Bill, you clueless dumbass! Pay the fuck attention to what I fucking say! Holy shit! Just listen to what I say, read the article I posted, and fuck off.
I love how you can hear.
I'm not talking about the fucking bill.
You can hear his like old mouse clicking in the background as he's blocking people in real time.
I'm not talking about the fucking bill. I'm not talking about that stupid, shitty fucking bill. I'm talking about something fucking different. I'm talking about medical guidelines that have been put out. You stupid fucking clueless.
Clueless
fucking
what? Wait, clueless what?
Clueless.
Finish that word, chat. Clueless. Say it. Finish that out for me.
Fucking shit. Fucking pricks. You are so fucking Christ. Just fucking listen to the shit I say when I say it. I'll post the article again. It's not about a fucking bill. It's about fucking guidelines. It's not a fucking bill I'm talking about, you fucking dumbass. I'm not talking about the fucking bill. I'm not talking about any fucking bill. I'm talking about fucking medical guidelines that have been passed. Like, holy shit. Just absolutely no fucking reading comprehension, no listening comprehension, just totally unable to listen to what I'm fucking saying.
I still hear him clicking.
Jesus, fuck off.
I love how his dictionary is so devoid of anything he can say. Just a constant, just seething, like reading his chat, seething, like how people just don't give a fuck about his opinions. And the funny thing is that I listened to this on like 2x while getting ready for the stream, and he never like, I don't think he actually reads the bill. He never reads the bill. He never reads these guidelines. He makes no attempt to like internalize any reason why people would support it. He very casually just brushes any kind of support as like neo-fascist, anti-trans shit. And you can just see like his Reddit talking points just hold no water to trolls making fun of him in his own chat, and it's great. And there's one more clip from Peetz. This is funny to me just because of what he says, and not strictly because of how he says it or whatever. Just like the story he tells makes me laugh.
Which state was it that passed one of those that affected one girl? Like, there's a couple of states who passed, like, trans sports bans that affect, like, one kid each. I know Utah overrode a veto from its own Republican governor to pass a trans sports ban that affected one girl. One trans kid. One. That's it. 75,000 kids in youth sports. And Utah's Republican legislature overrode a veto from its own Republican governor on one child, one fucking kid. And there was another state recently that did the same thing. Passed a trans sports ban that affected one girl who had actually fucking formed a girls' field hockey team. Seriously, this kid forms a girls' field hockey team, and the Republican legislature passes a ban targeting her. No one else. There's literally no one else actually affected by this. Just this one kid. One fucking kid. And they're like, no, fuck you. Fuck you specifically, you child. Like, that's how fucking evil Republicans are. That is how evil Republicans are. They are just straight up cruel. They are cruel, evil pieces of shit.
I just imagine, like, I'm sorry, but that's really funny. It's like, I just imagining some kid, he's like a little boy in a dress, and like, oh boy, I want to play field hockey. And then no team is willing to take him because he's trans, and he's like, okay, fuck it, I'll just make my own team then. And then after he does that, he gets like a couple people, like enabler friends to join up. And then, like, some suit and tie nigga, as I like to say, walks out from the government with a cease and desist order from the State Department and says, like, sir, the Congress has convened, the state legislature has convened, and has declared this a criminal enterprise. And you've got to stop. You got to tell these kids to go home. You're not doing this. We're putting an end to this. And then the governor intervenes. Is like, no, you can't do this. This is cyberbullying. And then the Congress is like, no, actually we can. We can and we will. We are going to form a super majority to override your conscientious objectivism, and we're going to tell this little fucker he's going to stay at home or he's going to play on the boys hockey team, and you can't do a fucking thing to stop us, Mr. Governor. That's an excellent story. Literally tears in my eyes. Well, that's because of the allergens. If I start sneezing, it's because I have allergies real bad right now. Okay. That's it for Peetz for right now. We'll get back to him eventually. So, Coach Red Pill, as I'm sure many of you have heard, Gonzalo Lira disappeared. On April 15th was the last day anyone had heard from Coach Red Pill. And on April 17th, a concerned friend said that they believed he was missing. He may be dead. And then, let me make sure I get my timeline right. This reaches mainstream media. Very serious people like this person starts confirming it.
Good evening. Sarah Ashton Cirillo, Kharkiv, Ukraine.
This is a very serious journalist from Kiev, and we have to, from the Daily Beast or some shit, I don't fucking know. Very seriously, have to take them seriously.
Where over the last few days, the topic of YouTuber, pundit, columnist, potential Russian asset, alleged Russian spy, Gonzalo Lira has taken up a significant amount of the conversation regarding Kharkiv, Ukraine, the Russian invasion,
Kharkiv,
and my role as a journalist. And one thing many people have asked me from both sides of the discussion was to find out if and when Gonzalo Lira died. And this is what I can report, direct from my sources.
Why are they saying this so dramatically? What a fucking attention whore.
Secondhand information. Since April 15th, when Gonzalo Lira was picked up by security services, there has been no indication that he is dead. Once again, I will repeat. It appears that Gonzalo Lira is in fact alive. This is Sarah Ashton Cirillo, Kharkiv, Ukraine. More to come.
So the dichotomy here is that he's reported as dead because he's missing. And then the pro-Russian people say that he was murdered by Azov Battalion, who are the neo-Nazis in Mariupol, as a part of silencing criticism of the Ukrainian government during the war. The Ukrainian people, like that weirdo, is saying the opposite, that the services picked him up for questioning because he might be an intelligence asset from Russia or whatever, and he's not dead. However, this does not stop people from grave dancing. In this instance, the Daily Beast wrote this wonderful article a couple of weeks ago in March, and coach said that they're trying to get him killed. Probably did lead to the interest in him wrapping up. And Ethan Ralph starts bragging. His coach made fun of him for getting his ass kicked in Portugal, making fun of him for being dead. In fact, Ralph goes all the way out and does this. I want you to hear some sueying. Be careful. There's a volume warning for this too.
Eric,
so there's this guy I know, a guy called Ethan, right?
Oh, wow. This is one of the ones he made about me, I think.
Ouch.
Oh, wow.
Oh, on being a simp?
Wow. You wonder why I'm having the champagne party.
Ouch.
Is that right? Wow. Wow.
A simp than dead.
Called out from beyond the grave. Called out from beyond the grave, dude.
Simp mispassed.
What the ghost of Simp mispassed? The ghost of Simp mispassed. Fucking Gonzalo himself. Wow, I actually knew, I knew that he made several about me, of course, but I didn't realize that that was the one.
What the fuck?
One of the ones.
So I've heard many laughs in my time, and that's a pretty genuine sounding laugh to me, at least. It doesn't sound like he's trying to force that out because that's like his only win in forever. However, and by the way, more than just like this group, Intel Slava Z. This is like the big Slavic intel network. I was actually told about them way before the Ukrainian war, so they're super respectable. And they say our information has been confirmed. The journalist was killed by Nemechev's volunteer battalion, and they tweeted out this image that circulated quite all over the place. Gonzalo Lira, a Chilean social media influencer who resided in Kharkov, Ukraine, and who published online content critical of the Ukrainian government, was kidnapped, tortured, and murdered by the Kraken unit, part of the Azov battalion affiliated with Ukrainian Security Services, the SBU, by Scott Ritter, former UN intelligence officer. And this statement by the UN intelligence officer was after a member of the Azov battalion, there's like a special subgroup within this, that took credit for killing him. So then after all this is said, and this fucking intelligence channel is like, yeah, he's definitely dead, we get this update this morning.
Okay, Gonzalo, I think we are live. I think we should be live. One sec. See, no one's watching, man. No, here's some people. Okay,
well,
here's
it doesn't
people.
matter. Just the
yeah.
recording is going to be.
Yeah,
good.
we're recording. Look,
Hi,
Gonzalo, I'll give you 5 minutes.
Yeah,
let me put you on.
It's what is it? Friday, April 20th. Friday already. Yeah, April 22nd, 2022. I'm in Kharkov. I'm okay. I just want to say that I'm back online, and I'm here with Alex Christoforou, and I just want to say that I'm fine physically. I'm a little rattled. I was picked up by the SBU on Friday, April 15th at a little after 1 p.m. local time. I'm okay physically. I'm a little rattled. There seems to have been like a lot of interest in my case, which is wonderful. Thank you. But there are a lot of other people who are frankly more deserving of the attention. I've highlighted them in my Twitter feed, the real Gonzalo Lira. Those people matter more because we don't know where some of them are. Some of them have passed away, but some of them were killed.
Here,
the other
I'll let
ones
this play, but I'm going to do a poll. I want you guys to tell me, do you guys think that he faked it? Do you think he faked it? I'll tell you my thoughts after it plays. This is only a 4-minute long video, so we'll let it play to completion.
I don't know where they are, and so they matter more. I'm okay. I don't have my computer, and I don't have my phone, and and so anything that was published or posted on the Gonzalo Lira YouTube channel, the Coach Red Pill YouTube channel, the real Gonzalo Lira Twitter feed, and the real CRP Telegram feed after April 15th, just discount it, because it was not me. I did not have access to those accounts, and I still don't, for that matter. And I don't have my cell phone or access to my email accounts. I created a new one, and that's how I got in touch with Alex. And I've been in touch with, of course, I reached out to my family members, the people close to me, and I'm telling them that I'm okay. In some cases, I'm waiting for their reply because it's 3 a.m, 4 a.m over there. I'm okay. Physically, I'm okay. I don't have anything that I can say publicly other than I'm okay. And thank you for the concern, because I've been checking out on internet some of the stuff that is being said about me, and I appreciate so much the kind wishes and all the thoughtfulness of so many people, and I very much appreciate it. But I'm still in Kharkov, and for the time being, I cannot leave. The authority here has told me that I cannot leave the city, and but I'm okay, and none the worse for wear, and I'm rambling, and I'm sorry about that. I'm a little bit discombobulated, as you can imagine, but I will come up with something clever to say. So I'm going to end here. Alex, thank you so much, and just cut it out now, because I'm just.
That's the end. He's very discombobulated on it. He doesn't, and I think actually that he is telling the truth, because I think that the Ukrainian tranny talked to the security bureau, and they confirmed it, that we have him in custody. And I think they just held him for a week, and they tried to figure out if he was just like a spy or a retard. And then all this news started. They're probably planning to hold him, but then all this news came out, and the Intel Slava and all the Russian people were like, "Oh, it's Ukrainians. They're murdering journalists now." Yada yada yada. And I was just like, "Fuck it. This fucking retard isn't worth the political impact of him being dead." So they let him back out into the streets, but said, "Don't cause any trouble. Stay in your house." So now he's just all hush hush. If he did fake it, he would have a braggadocious story about how I was taken to the heart of Azovstal, and I was in the steel mill, but then I told them about the red pill philosophy and how actually the Nazis were the good guys, and then I told them the secret to picking up women, how women are dogs, and then I got out, and now I'm back home, and they gave me $1 million, too. That would be his story. He wouldn't be smart enough to just be I was picked up, and I was let go. So I think that's a true story. So I don't know. Here's plan C, okay? It's not anything super political. What happened is that he was on his knees about to be executed by beheading by Zelensky himself. And Zelensky, of course, was using the flaming sword of Archangel Michael. And he was about to be seared and beheaded all at one time. But then the news came in. One of his top men broke into the execution chamber and was like, Stop. Ethan Ralph is condoning this. And then Zelensky was like, wait a second, the Gunt has said that he sanctions this execution. He's like, yes, he's squealing about it right now. He's fake laughing and everything. We can't let him win. And Zelensky, with immense sadness in his heart, said, you're right. We have to let this man go, because any second that Ethan Ralph is happy is a loss not only for the Ukrainian people and for decent people worldwide, but for all mankind. And they gave Coach Red Pill a little slap on the butt, and he's like, get out of here. You frisky devil. Stop impregnating Ukrainian women. Or next time we'll cut your dick off. So now Ethan Ralph has to contend with the fact that Gonzalo Lira is now more famous than ever. More famous than he's ever been. And is still very much alive, and presumably all his fingers are intact, and he's not limping around with like a broken kneecap or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't have anything against Coach. I think his shtick is a little bit cringe. All right, now I guess we're already in the Ralph sphere, but let me give you a rundown because there's some happenings this week. And as much as I try to avoid talking about Ralph, I just can't help it. He's just such a trash fire, and he's leaning into it now because he's in this thing where his audience appreciates like how much of a trash fire he is. So he's stuck in this perpetual loop of like feeling enabled to be as big a dick as possible. And while he gets his audience to tip more, he constantly like encloses his corner. He's got a smaller and smaller world all the time. And it's hard for me to say, like, yeah, you know, I shouldn't pay attention to this because it's, like, kayfabe or whatever. Because it's like, no, he genuinely is, like, a retard dickhead that hurts himself constantly. And just because he wants to be that doesn't mean that it's fake or whatever. So, in his habit of latching on to successful entities and sucking them dry, he latched on to Jim, he latched on to IBS, he latched on to IP2 for a little bit, latched on to Warski, latched on to Stream.me, he latched on to DLive. He is now, in Odyssey, he has now latched on to Nick Fuentes and America First. And they sort of have this long history going where anytime that Nick Fuentes really wanted to rant about something that wasn't really on brand for his main podcast, or it was just off season or whatever, he would show up on the kill stream, and Ralph and his audience would be a sympathetic ear for him. So they naturally formed a little friendship, and there's nothing wrong with that. But now Nick has kind of given him the keys to Cozy TV. And Cozy TV is his streaming platform, which from what I understand is one server with a video card that handles a couple thousand viewers tops, primarily for Nick Fuentes, but also people like Beardson and Baked Alaska. And not included, I think Flamenco is on it, but I think the person most out of that sphere is Destiny, but Destiny multi-streams to YouTube and nobody uses Cozy TV. That's a part of Destiny's audience. So Jim's not on it, I'm not on it, PPP's not on it. A lot of people who would naturally feel inclined to possibly restreaming on Cozy, because I know Medicare used Stream.me and shit and had a blast watching old TV shows on Stream.me. People who might take advantage of this platform and promote it are not being invited, and I think that's partially because of Ralph's influence. And I'm going to say a couple things during this that are going to make me sound jealous, but I'm truly, I would not stream on Cozy TV. I would not tell you people to go to Cozy TV because I don't trust it. Same reason why I wouldn't use Power Chats. But I just want to point out that I think that some of the decision making about who gets on it and who does not is being spearheaded by Ralph. And I determined that mostly based on how close their relationship is now, but now also like who actually is on it already. Well, obviously, I would hope it's obvious, and I hope that I don't sound bitter because I'm not. But I want to get ahead of that. So I have this laid out kind of chronologically. It's a lot. This stream is probably going to be another hour at least to go through all this, and most of it's video content. But I have a lot to say as well, so let's just kind of start progressing our way through it. It started with a continuation of the flamenco drama. Ralph had, I think I mentioned this last stream because it happened on the 14th, but Ralph flagged flamenco live on air, and I have a tab for this, so let's pull up Firefox. And you can kind of see the live reaction to it. Flamenco publishes the DMCA, Ralph versus Jim, Elon Musk, and this is a copyright strike that was removed by Ethan Ralph on April 14th, requiring him to go to copyright school. And then, as well as that, Flamenco's Twitch TV channel was also taken down for DMCA. So we followed it to both. And the real irony, in case you're wondering, in case you're new, in case you're like a casual listener who doesn't really pay attention to this shit because it's kind of gay, good for you. Mind you, I'm not throwing shade. Genuinely good for you. That's the right path. Ralph basically made a huge part of his career off the back of a specific stream. Back in his highlights, where he used to have two co-hosts, and Jim Medicare used to show up on his streams all the time. And there was a stream where he was basically drunk and asleep, like just the most passive part of the stream. Where Monday Matt comes on, and people are accusing him of flagging. And Zidane, who is now not a co-host and just kind of like disappeared and just has a light Twitter presence now, convinced Mundane Matt to show his report history on YouTube. And his report history included like 10 different videos from like people making fun of him. And this was also in itself ironic because Mundane Matt made his career off Gamergate when Zoe Quinn flagged him. Years and years ago, Zoe Quinn flagged his videos about Gamergate, and then he made his name off fighting that and fighting censorship. And then here comes Ethan Ralph. He calls out the flagger. Well, Zidane does all the work. Medicare does all the work. Even the drama alert guy, he does a bit of the stream too. But it basically makes the kill stream. Like everyone involved in internet drama knew about the kill stream after that stream. Years and years later, Ralph's doing it too. Ralph Keemstar, and Ralph is also flagging people now, but he's afraid of becoming like Mundane Matt, because what Mundane Matt did when he got called out was he bowed his head and was like, "No, I'm sorry. No, I was in a bad headspace. Literally, I'm in a bad headspace." And he tried to deny it, saying I was picking boulders at the time. And then they convinced him in the ultimate move of humiliating Mundane Matt to apologize by saying, "I am a soy-filled bitch, and I'm sorry I flagged your videos down." Ralph has learned nothing from this except that he should not say those words. So anytime anyone compares him to Mundane Matt, he locks down. He just says, "Nah, bitch, I ain't fucking about that shit. I ain't talking about that. Fuck you. I'm not no fucking bitch made bitch like you, bitch." And then he just shuts up and refuses to address this at all. Because he didn't learn that the behavior is something that people don't like. He learned that you should never defenestrate yourself like Mundane Matt did. That was his takeaway. So people start calling him out about this. In particular, people expected that Nick Fuentes, who, as a alt-right person, someone who is in the conservative movement, someone who considers himself America First, should be against. He should say, "I don't condone censorship." Simple as. And people will just assume that if you're in this sphere, that you're pro First Amendment and you're pro or anti-censorship. Nick Fuentes doubles down with Ralph and says, "No, actually, I've never said that I'm pro free speech. I'm not pro free speech. I'm pro me. I'm pro America First, bitch. And I'm not going to apologize for Ethan Ralph. I'm not going to disavow Ethan Ralph. I don't care what Ethan Ralph does." He has this huge tirade, and people are just like shocked that this person who should be condemning censorship is just given a full-throated defense for it. And here is his clip about oh no, it's not. It's on the it's not. I don't have a clip. I have the Jim tweet, and this is important that it's from Jim's account. He retweets this video.
Yeah, but I report, like, when like people are shitting on me, I report their streams. I report everything they have to try and get them banned, and I just think that's like fair. Because they, it's like, I agree with you. Swatting that's like trying to kill somebody. So like, yeah, it's attempted murder. But like, isn't it kind of gay to be like,
DMCA,
DMCA strike, that's not fair.
A DMCA strike is not the same as reporting somebody, because the DMCA strike automatically removes the stream and removes their ability to stream.
Yeah, it seems like a fair tactic. I think that's a fair tactic. Yeah, but I report, like, when like people are shitting on me, I report their streams.
Oh, sorry, that's looping around. So he basically says, like, yeah, I flag everybody and I don't give a fuck. All's fair in love and war, bitch, fuck you. And that's his thing. And, like, people are surprised by this. And the fact that Jim tweets it out causes Nick Fuentes to go on a huge diatribe about Nick. And I have a long clip from him and his show that I would like to play a lot from, where he sort of reaffirms his position. And by the way, yeah, but I want to point out how cringe it is, both here and in this thing that I'm about to play, where his show is called America First, and he just has look at this. His mug says Cozy TV, and then in the bottom right you have the Russian flag with their military insignia on it. And it's like, what about this is America first? What is the America first in this? Is it like at what point am I supposed to feel a swelling of patriotism and a need to reestablish nationalism in the U.S.? Like I see Russia first. I see your brand. I don't see anything. Like you have an opportunity to put like an American flag in the background or something, but no, you superimpose a foreign nation's flag and military symbols on your stream. It's like, what a bitch. You just change your fucking name to Fuentes first or some shit. Okay, anyways, timestamps. 250.
And I guess Flamenco was trash talking Ralph and accusing him of rape and other things, and Ralph DMCA'd the video on YouTube, and then everybody freaked out and said, oh, you can't do that, you DMCA'd me, that's like, you can't do that. And I jump in and say, it's pretty rich that there's people out there, you've got this community of people on YouTube that it's their job not to laugh at you, but to ruin your life. And I've seen firsthand what that whole scene is about. I saw it happen to Baked Alaska. I've seen it happen to other people. It's malicious. It's malicious gossip, rumors. It's hate mob, harassment type stuff. And people can call it what they want. Oh, we're just having a funny stream. But we've all seen the effects of it. For the past 3 weeks, cozy streamers have been getting swatted. And they're getting swatted because everybody's doxxed, and everybody's doxes are being collected and investigated and posted on websites that are run by these kinds of people or the followers of this community, members of this community. And
so, okay, a couple things. From what I understand with the flamenco stuff, Alice accused Ethan Ralph of having unwanted sexual contact with her. That was not flamenco. That was not Jim. That was not me. That was not anyone in the Kiwi Farms. A woman that was not his wife, was not his pregnant fiancée, May, spending time with him alone in Vegas, accused him of sexual impropriety, not anybody else. So to say that drama channels are doing it is wrong. Whatever your opinions are of Alice, and I have suspicions of her as well, that it was not Jim or Flamenco that accused Ralph of doing anything. And by the way, in case you are someone who is famous or plans to become famous or internet famous, there's a tip from Vice President Pence, Mike Pence. I forgot his name for a second. Mike Pence I remember a story very vividly from CNN about how Mike Pence was a misogynist. And they base this off of the fact that Mike Pence refuses to be in a room alone with a woman that is not his wife unless his wife is present. And somehow, Mike Pence has managed to go his entire career without a single accusation of sexual harassment. He has never been accused of molesting anybody, and he got out of the Trump administration pretty much unscathed. The only person to do so was Mike Pence. So I take away from this, Mike Pence has the right idea. Unless you are married to someone, that you should never be alone in a room with a woman, because if you don't break that rule, you can't get into trouble. So Ethan Ralph, I can fully believe would rape someone. I can also fully believe that Alice is lying about it. Either way, it's not Jim, and it's not Flamenco, and it's not the Kiwi Farms. And speaking of the Kiwi Farms, he fully avoids mentioning the forum, and this is something that I want to touch on as well. Don't let me forget. Let's jump ahead a little bit to faux.
But I have said that it's a little bit hypocritical to run an operation like that, and then when the subject of the hate mob that you are animating retaliates, then you're going to say, oh, like well, that was too far. You broke the rules. And I jump on the stream and say, yeah, I think that's basically fair. I think you're in a war, and that's basically fair. One side is making false rape allegations and trying to interfere in Ethan Ralph's IRL events that he organizes, and they dox him, and again, very malicious, hateful type stuff, which is what it is. And then the guy retaliates. Oh, well, I'll report your video. I'll get your stream taken down.
Okay, I don't even have this planned, but I just heard that, and I need to interrupt it there. I'm going to continue basically throughout the entire video, but he says that these people sending, pranksters basically to like Tux going to this a bowling event, a fucking bowling event. Tux going to a bowling event to maybe dab on Ethan Ralph is life ruination, malicious, serves no purpose other than pure evil spitefulness to which any sort of retaliation is welcome. Motherfucker, if I remember correctly, and I think I do, Nick Fuentes built his entire brand of going to a convention by Charlie Kirk and loading the audience. The entire audience was stuffed with his minions who would get up there and embarrass Charlie Kirk and his gay ex-Marine friend on the stage. I'm pretty sure that happened. So is it not okay to do that to Ralph, to send one person to bully him a little bit? Like, what the fuck is this? I hate hypocrisy. And he's continuously hypocritical throughout this.
I mean, really, it's equally. I don't love DMCAs. I don't love that type of stuff, but equally, this is all part of the game. This is all part of what you get online. You're a famous person online, you get hate. You're a hater, you harass people for a living, okay, you get a DMCA takedown. Honestly, I think that's just how it goes, right? But these people go, well, that was just, you violated this unwritten code, you can't do that, you've taken it too far, really? And then I separately said something about Mr. Medicare, and I said, I don't have a personal beef with Medicare. I said, but his whole genre of content isn't funny, and it's cringe. This like aloof, smug, point and laugh. To me, it's very millennial. It's very Gen X. It's very nihilistic. It's very low tier. I mean, they make fun of like the biggest losers on the internet. They make fun of people that are like struggling in their lives, And you could make a value judgment about the subjects of these videos, but it's very just like so-called punching down, like just cheap, low-hanging fruit, lowest common denominator type stuff. And I said, I just don't like the pretension that people that cover internet drama are better than the people embroiled in internet drama. You got these people that there's just like trailer trash type fighting and brawling and weird sex stuff going on. And then you get these guys that literally watch that for a living and like commentate on it, and they think they're so much better. It's like, really? You have all these like dirtbag type people that are involved in all this goofy stuff, and for a living you watch that and you catalog that and you report on that, and you think that makes you so above and morally better. I just think I totally dislike that. And then he goes on stream and goes, and then he goes off, and he's totally unhinged. He's ranting about me on Twitter, all the usual stuff. And so I said, okay, well, let's just set up a debate. So me and Medicare, we'll be talking about that on Friday. I'm sure a lot of you guys don't care at all. I'm sure I'm saying this, and a lot of people are like, who asked? Who cares? But for people that are interested, it's just one of these fun. I think it's like wrestling. I think E-drama is like wrestling. I just like it because it's like soap opera type stuff. But for people that are interested, I'll be debating Medicare on Friday at 8 o'clock Central. I think it's going to be a fun, big stream. And I think I'm basically going to expose Medicare.
So, okay. You can criticize Jim and a lot of other people as that completely fair criticism to say this is like Jerry Springer, this is like Maury Povich, this is like trash TV. This is womanly behavior, gossiping about people. The Bible condemns gossiping. All these things that you could say about Jim are completely fair. About me, completely fair. About the forum, completely fair. Problem is then to say those things and become embroiled with it. Like, if this was his entire statement, like, oh, I saw that Jim was talking shit, and I know a lot of people in the audience really care about his opinions, but I don't, because I think that it's trash TV, and I'm not going to say anything about it, because I don't give a fuck. I got this news story I want to cover, and we're moving on right along to that. That's what you say. It's like with Dark Side Phil. Why is this a 14-minute long statement? Why are you now showing up on this guy's stream to debate him in DMCAs if you don't give a fuck? Clearly you do. Clearly, you read the Kiwi Farms. I've become aware of this. I was actually surprised by this to learn that Nick Fuentes reads his thread all the time, because I actually fell for this where he's above it all. I thought he was a serious political person and he was trying to form a movement or whatever. And no, he's like everybody else, reading his fucking forum thread and seeing how many people are calling him a cat boy on poll and sending his Discord kittens to defend him in poll threads about his upcoming argument with a dying man on some Mexican's channel. It's the most bewildering thing to me. And by the way, I'm 8 minutes through about 14 minutes, and it's 14 minutes for him to delineate where he's at, what he thinks, and how he's somehow above that, and reconciling that he's involved in this, he's friends with Ethan Ralph, and then condemning someone who's in the sector as him, and condemning drama channels which are in the same sector as this shit that he's condemning. It takes him 14 minutes to fully analyze that train wreck of a logical non sequitur, and I want to compare that to when Nick Fuentes is on point, saying something he actually believes in and which has no logical contradictions whatsoever. You ready? Here's him making a statement that he actually believes.
Not interested. I'm sorry, Brittany Venti, but I just can't do it. You're an e-girl. You know the rule. No e-girls. Who's got the clip? No e-girls. Never.
Do you see any contradictions or hypocrisy there? No e-girls. Never. Bam, 10 seconds, out the park. No questions asked. But then we're going back to this 8 fucking minutes through 14 minutes. And it's like you're literally doing cartwheels on the fucking the gymnasium here, bro.
Medicare. Not like I don't have anything like on him, but I just think that his whole MO is just not that funny and basically cringe. I don't hate the guy. I don't really even know the guy. I haven't talked to him in years, but I just think that genre is just really pathetic, and I'm just against that. I am not a man of pretension. I like Ethan Ralph because he is funny and because he really just doesn't care what people think. And I can relate to that. I can't relate to everything that Ralph says or does, but I like that he's just this bulldog. I like that everybody hates him. Everybody tries to ruin his life. And he just survives. Like, he is like a cockroach. He just keeps coming out. And yeah, he is who he is. Unfazed, right? He's unflappable. And I just sort of admire that. I admire that quality in people. Some people say, oh, it's a huge detriment that you like people like Beardson or Ralph or Baked Alaska. I like underdogs. I like people that just are who they are. They say fuck the haters, and they live their lives.
That would be fair, except that Ralph fucks with other people. He gets random girls impregnated. He actively ruins people's lives by being involved with them. And now he's involved in your life. It would be different if he was like standing up for Darkside Phil. Oh, Darkside Phil, the guy who streams video games, the guy who can't take care of an ant infestation problem adequately. He's like a cockroach. He doesn't go away. Like, that's somebody who has an endearing level of stoicism about him that you can sit back and admire from a kind of like sarcastic way, where it's like, yeah, good for him. This is what he wants to do, and he's managing to hang on. Good for him. Ralph is not that. Ralph is somebody who takes shit. He doesn't survive by just like finding little cracks to hide in. He survives by going into your house, opening your fridge, eating all your food, and then ejaculating on your toilet seat so you sit on it in the morning. That's Ralph. He's not there just to get by. He's there to take your shit, Nick Fuentes.
I 100% side with people like that, whatever their faults, over people that think they're better than you and try and like, oh, I'm going to point out someone else's problems and laugh and make myself feel better, and I am better. I hate that. I hate that whole, maybe that's like a temperamental thing or a fundamental difference, but I prefer to root for the guy that's like takes an elbow, arrest him, and doing all that kind of stuff, as opposed to the guy that's like, you're so like, you're a terrible person. You're like a bad person. You're like a total freaking jerk. Like, that's so gay. People do the same thing to me, and I hate that. I hate that because I'm a real human being. I say what I want. I do what I want. Sometimes it's cringe. Sometimes it's based, but it's real. It's authentic. I am who I am. And those are the kinds of people that I like. I don't like people that are like, enforcing.
I mean, this argument in particular is, fuck, I'll let it play a little bit more. There's a moment to to talk about this because he goes into more detail in a couple minutes, and I'll skip ahead to that.
Well, they're not like, oh my gosh, did you hear what so and so said? Oh my gosh, Ethan Ralph, guy's like a freaking jerk.
That's a great gay male voice. He does that really well, doesn't he? Then again, so do I.
Like this, like judgmental about his life. Who cares about his life? You know, who cares about what he does in his life? It doesn't affect you. You know. And I say the same thing about flamenco. You know, if we took the same approach that flamenco does, am I supposed to disavow and attack flamenco? We all found out what flamenco jerked off to 10 years ago. Who cares? Literally, who cares? You know, if you know someone and you like someone, and if you think they're funny, yeah, everybody is imperfect. Everybody does things you don't like or disagree with. They're still your friends, and they're still also people, and we're all people. And there has to be some humility in recognizing that. Yeah, flamenco did some weird stuff. Yeah, Ralph does some weird stuff. Yeah, this is life. But then you're going to have somebody that goes in and says, my shit doesn't stink, you know? Somebody's going to come in and say, oh, well, but I'm like above all that. I'm going to say, oh, you're a mess. You're a mess. That stuff is just so like human in the worst way. That's real human in the worst way, in a bad way. That's like fake. That's real fake human. So, I don't like it.
Like I said, like that's the end of the clip. It's pretty interesting watching him because he has to reconcile his condemnation of gossip, and she said, well, defending Ralph, who is the embodiment of that? Who is the embodiment of shit flinging? It's like, just say what you mean. Just say that you're out for yours, Ralph is on your side, and Jim isn't. And therefore, Jim can get fucked, and Ralph is might as well be, an angel to you because he's on your side. Like, that's just so disingenuous. And I don't know how... It's very hard for me to put myself in the mindset of someone who supports Ralph. And I'm very good at this. I'm very good at being empathetic and understanding where people are coming from. I was very inspired when I was a kid of a quote, I think falsely attributed to either the Buddha or to the Dalai Lama, of if you walk in someone's shoes, or if you imagine yourself as someone else, how can you do them any harm? If you imagine yourself as someone, how can you do that person harm? Because you would imagine it as yourself. So I've always tried to have an empathetic perspective of other people, which is a strange thing for me to say from my position. But I don't know. I like to put myself in other people's positions and try to think, if I was this person, if I woke up as this person tomorrow, what would I do to try and fix things? And that's why I've had a particular sympathy for Chris, because I felt like if someone gave Chris the opportunity if someone gave him the structure to sell his comics or to make money from his art, he could do it. And he did do it when I gave him that opportunity, until he fucked his mother, which was a bit of a deal breaker. But like I said, I try to be very empathetic. I have no idea why people support someone like Ralph, like Nick Fuentes, like Baked Alaska. Like, what do you get out of this? I truly don't understand where it comes from. Like, what is the value? Like, you support people who have principles that you agree with. What are his principles? Literally, if I had to ask this guy questions, if I was sitting with him, talking to him, I would want to know, what do you actually believe in? Because you say America first, but your flag is Russian. You say, that you're conservative, but you're not. You support people who are not. You say that you're religious, but I don't see any attribute of you in a religious way, except that you give lip service to Christ as King. Like, what are your values? What do you actually want? And what change do you want to see? Because I can't even fucking imagine at this point what he would actually want to say. And his response would be either one of two things. Either he would say, nothing, I'm out for me, bitches, fuck you, got mine, which I can't imagine his audience would support. Maybe they would. But the other one is that he would actually say things. He would say, I do have this perspective, and I do support these things, in which case you could probably call him a hypocrite, because regardless of what he says at this point, he's probably violated his own principles in the last week. So I'm very perplexed by Nick Fuentes. And then he goes on to Ralph's stream. I don't have a clip of this, but he basically co-signs everything that Ralph says. He says that he's so happy he doesn't have to pretend Jim was funny. Jim was never funny to him, and he just pretended because that was the cool thing to do, which I don't understand that. Like, how are you going to walk that back and say, like, no, this guy, actually, fuck him. Jim was wrong about COVID, which he kind of was, to be fair. I mean, it was scary when it first started happening, but I definitely think we're over that shit now. That Jim is a race traitor, and that's cringe. Jim is 40 with no children, co-signs that. Jim is a cringe nihilist. Jim is an out-of-date Gen Xer, makes fun of his age constantly, and that Jim has cancer and cannot die soon enough. And he just says this over and over again. And I don't know. It's very... And talking about punching down and shit. Someone has cancer. You're going to make fun of that. Like, it kind of seems like you're just a big fucking hypocrite on every count, Nick Fuentes. And speaking of, there's a religious element to this. There is spiritual warfare happening between Nick Fuentes, Baked Alaska, and Ethan Ralph against Jim. Because as I said, Jim is a cringe Gen Xer nihilist, atheist, and the base Tradcath America First Battalion takes serious issues with this. So we're going to listen to Baked on this spiritual warfare. This is from a conversation with Nick Fuentes. I can't hear Nick Fuentes on this, so you're just going to have to take my word on this.
Like, going on these gay ops, you know, they're like, oh, you know, they shared that screenshot of someone posting a copy pasta in my chat, and they're like, oh my gosh, Baked is orchestrating a flagging ring, and Nick is pulling the strings. Oh! And it's like, no, I literally don't give a fuck. I don't think about these people, straight up. Like, I've already moved on. Do I care if they get flagged? Hell no, I don't give a fuck. I hope they all lose their fucking channels because they're faggots. But am I spending time like report fagging and, you know, organizing hate writ? No, I don't do that. I've never done that. Never will do that. I don't know. But all I got to say at the end of the day is that the truth comes out in the end. I believe that. I really do. And it's like God is on our side. We're saying the truth. We don't have, you know, they always have to come up with these fake narratives, like you said, the Catboy thing or, you know, whatever it may be. They're always, you know, it's like fan fiction on Kiwi Farms now. It's just like, you know, Baked ran this tax scam with his, like, I don't know where they come up with it, but the truth is on our side, and we don't have to make things up. We just keep saying the truth, and people are going to, you know, notice. And I've been vindicated. You've been vindicated, obviously. And that's only going to continue. That's only going to continue because we don't have to make up bullshit stories. We don't have to, you know, run these gay ops and all. We just say the truth. We just say the truth. And yeah, no, I've noticed too. I wanted to tell you, like, there's a crazy fever in the air right now. Like this crazy butthurt for you specifically in America First. And I mean, I don't get it. The only thing I can really amount it to is just like extreme jealousy, sort of like you said, the Incredibles, like, you know, people that thought you were awesome and wanted to be part of America First, but then they were extremely cringe and, you know, fucked up their opportunity or whatever it may be. But it's crazy. I just see everyone coming out of the woodwork. It was like the day after. Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it in the air. Like everyone's trying to take you down, and it's weird. It's weird, man. It is. We're definitely in a spiritual battle. You know, that's why I've been doing the rosary streams every Sunday. People have been enjoying those. We have to be praying. We have to stay close to God. We have to be praying the rosary, going to mass, doing all that. Man, it's a dark time for sure. But, you know, I feel good. I know that we're doing the right thing. We're on the.
By the way, okay, and I remember to do the thing I was going to mention. I am also convinced, and this may be me being jealous, like I mentioned. Don't take this as me being jealous, but I have noticed a 180 in position from Ralph. He literally wore a fucking hat with my name on it. He mentioned me every day. He talked about my penis so much that people on their restreams put Josh's penis counters on like the overlay to do a one-up every time he brought it up out of nowhere. Suddenly, Ralph and Nick Fuentes go out of their way to avoid mentioning me or the forum completely. Completely. Don't mention it at all. Out of nowhere. And I think that this was a direct order from Deperher telling Ralph, do not mention this blood enemy because you empower them by bringing them up. You drive people from our demographics to this site. And I might be thinking like, okay, I'm not particularly relevant to this. I don't have any reason to be brought up, but it was so sudden and it's so obvious. They step around it by saying that like drama channels and drama sites. Like, no, you're talking about one in particular, my dude. But Baked Alaska hasn't got the memo, and I wouldn't be surprised if Baked Alaska stops bringing it up as well, because he's the only one still doing it. But Ralph and Nick Fuentes are definitely on that stream where they're like, yeah, let's never mention that this guy exists. But they talk about Kino Casino, they talk about Jim, and it's like, there's something weird. There's something weird, and I can't quite place my finger on it. But maybe that's just jealousy talk in chat. I can never be too sure. I don't want to be an egoist. Here's the counterpart to Baked Alaska's sermon on the spiritual warfare.
Oh, Ralph, oh, please, Daddy Jim was great.
A doll will
It's gonna
send
make me
$10
fucking smile.
Build a bonfire. Build a bonfire. Put these losers on the top. Put their channels in the middle and burn the fucking lot. Fuck all this stupid shit.
Rocket Summit fire! It's gonna give me strength, do you understand? While you're roasting in eternal hell fire, atheist, I'm gonna be sitting up here, basking in Christ, enjoying the death of a heathen.
This is pure condensed cringe, and it's very difficult. I would feel bad for anyone trying to find faith at this time, because you look at, especially with Catholicism, like Ralph said, he's converting to Catholicism because May is Catholic, and so is Nick Fuentes, and so is Baked Alaska, and it's like, how do you have to kind of look past it and just say, like, yeah, these people, they're scammers, they're fraudsters, they're hucksters, they're trying to disguise their repugnant behavior as some sort of like holy thing. You just kind of have to look past it, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult for me to look at like Catholicism seriously when the three, off the top of my head, the three loudest practicing Catholics I can think of are Ethan, Ralph, Baked Alaska, and Nick Fuentes. It kind of hurts the soul, you know what I mean? But there's that speech. And people are gonna fry me for not remembering this, but there's a speech by like a specific pastor about, if I were the devil, what would you do to subvert Christianity if I was the devil? And he enumerates all the things that have already happened. And he's like, I would fill the church with pedophiles. I would make the loudest preachers people like Ethan Ralph. He doesn't specifically name Ethan Ralph because this was like 30 years ago. But it kind of reminds me of Ralph. Oh, Joe Biden is Catholic? Yeah. You just have to... Oh, Ricada is Catholic, true. That's true. Okay. I'll just let him keep... I just let him keep doing what he's doing. Exactly. That was it. I'm not going to get into the whole Catholic thing, but... yeah, it's pretty rough. And I think the reason why people like Catholics, I'll just say this real quick, is that it's old. And I think, like, when people look back, it's like a purity spiral. This is the problem with the right, is that the right is conservative, but how much to be conservative is like a question. So you go back and you look at, like, oh, we should return to Catholicism because that has such a rich history and all these different icons and stories and, you know, teachings and... that go back thousands of years. Catholicism is the way, but then you look at the current Catholic Church and you're like, oh, they're full of, like, you know, it's really gross. It's kind of broken. They're pandering to like immigrants and wokeism and shit. It's like, I'm not into that. So then you think, well, we'll go back to the good old days of Nazi Germany. That's kind of base. And then you find out that Himmler is like fucking insane, and the whole reason why they use the swastika is because of German archaeologists from Greece found swastikas on old pottery. And so Himmler came up with this idea that the Indo-Aryan people stretching from Tibet, which also uses the swastika on pottery, all the way up to like Germany and Scandinavia are like one unified master race. You're like, okay, that's kind of fucking weird. And then there are people like, well, Christianity as a whole is like this Jewish thing. We're literally worshiping a dead Jew, so that's kind of cringe because I hate Jews so much. And then you're like, oh, well, what about like paganism? I should become an Odinist. And it's like, it's this constant backpedal of how far back can we go to find when white people were really based again. And Nick Fuentes is at that accessible level of Catholicism. Yeah, they got saints and shit, and they have the catechism. I can't pronounce that word. I've only seen it written. They have the catechism, the Catholic catechism, and that's good enough. And we'll grift on that. So that's make your own. That's what I think. I hate repurposing old symbols. I didn't even know that the swastika was the history of it. I read that recently, that it was literally like Hitler trying to repurpose this old icon that was associated with Indo-Aryan Tibetans as like the master race. And I was like, that's kind of stupid. Just make something new. Make something new and rally around it. Why does it have to be something old? Why do you have to like resurrect dead shit? Why do you have to resurrect Loki to... I had someone tell me once that glioblastoma, a type of cancer, was Loki's divine punishment to the Goyim, to Jews, because he hates them. I still think of that. It makes me laugh every time I think of that specific cancer. Catechism. Okay. Enough of that. It's too far. It's too down the political pipe for me. I'm gonna get yelled at in the comments. I'm gonna get angry fucking Fediverse comments from very, very, very devout Catholics and very, very devout pagans who are angry at what I've said today. Okay, so the second phase of the flagging, right? So now we're over this hill, and war were declared, as it were, and Ralph gets flagged. His YouTube channel, he had like 8 different restreaming channels, all struck down, and he starts talking about it.
Can be struck, and it's an enemy of this show or America First or the Groypers. I say hit it. I say fucking hit it and ask questions later. I want to see all these fucking channels burn. I want to see all these motherfuckers tossed off YouTube. I want to see them just completely fucking butt broken off of YouTube. You know, PPP talks a lot of shit. That Daka channel is full of strikeable material, and it has nothing to do with DMCAs. Just go through and look. There is strikeable material all throughout that channel. Go back, particularly in the early days. Just keep looking. Whatever you need to do, find it and hit it. And I'm dead serious. I don't give a fuck. Same for Medicare. I don't give a fuck. He's got plenty of shit to hit on his, too. And I want to see them both taken down. Fuck it. Who gives a fuck? Let's see it all burn. Let's see it all burn. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
By the way, this stream will be going down probably right after it goes, after it ends. So I'm going to be rushing it out to the archives and stuff. That's going to be difficult because I have to do some work on the site, but I'll try to get up on Odyssey and stuff as soon as possible.
Video, hit it. Ask questions later. Fucking file the report. That's what I say. File the report, ask questions later. Because that's kind of how they took it. You know, they took it there. They took a personal beef between me and Flamenco, him rebroadcasting my live content, and have decided to, you know, take out a few channels. Okay, well, that's fine. I've decided to take out a few channels myself.
It's so I can't tell anymore. I really can't tell with Ralph if he is just like retarded and just blames everyone for his problems all the time, or if he just lies to like rally his fans into doing his bidding. You know what I mean? Like his channels go down and it was done because of like YouTube violations or some shit. And he just blames Jim, and it's just like, yeah, Jim and all those and PPP, they're responsible for it. It was between me and Flamenco, but now it's everybody, it's all of them. And it's like, does he even know that he's lying, or is he just like Swiss cheese brain and just babbling to himself?
And so that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. So I'll just say this, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. You know, hours and hours crying about it, and you know, it is what it is. I will survive for sure. But I say hit them all. And I have no qualms with saying that either. So again, I guess those are my thoughts on it. it's not really that big a deal because I expected this to happen. But you know, it's still something I think should be. I still think should be answered fire with fire. You guys know how I operate. I mean, what did they think I would come out here and say? I mean, I say hit it all. Hit it all. Total war, all fronts, whatever channel you see, whoever's talking shit. I don't care who it is.
I still really appreciate how he has to wear his hat and sunglasses inside. Like, never let that be not a point of failure for him. He has to wear a hat because he's gray. He's 36, but he looks like he's 50. And he's losing his hair. And then he has to wear sunglasses because they operated on his fucking orbital bone after he got his face kicked in for harassing women in Portugal. And his googly eyes are too silly for anyone to take seriously. So now he has to wear, like, probably brand name shades that he paid $600 for inside to hide his fucking face. Eventually, as he keeps taking L's, he's gonna, like, his face is gonna, someone's like gonna like slash his face like they do to pedophiles in a prison, and to hide that, he's gonna start wearing like a leper mask. He's gonna look like Leggett Lanius from Fallout New Vegas with like a full brass mask on his face, or wear something like Bane, like no one cared who I was till I put on the mask. Just wear that instead, or just start VTubing like Flamenco does, and his avatar is gonna be like the Chad meme, like the buff three, like the real stock photo model Chad. It's just gonna be him. He's like, yeah, this is me. I'm the Ralph male. Terrible Bane voice. Fuck you. Okay. So there's that, and then this all leads up to a final unified declaration of war. An uprising has been declared by all parties involved against, I guess, drama channels.
Oh, yeah, it's just a YouTube channel, bro. Oh, your YouTube. Look at these lolcows. You gotta get a real job. Oh no, it's time for the lolcows to rise up. Okay, let's go.
Lolcow uprising.
Our udders are chapped. I'm fucking kicking over the milking stool. I'm getting a fucking shotgun. I'm a lolcow on a fucking rampage. Kicking down the door of the bus. Let's go. Blow away every single one of these drama. Hands up, bitch.
Yeah, year of the lolcow uprising.
Let's rise up. We're done being milked for content.
We are done being milked.
We're killing all the farmers. Kill all farmers.
When I heard this, I was literally in stunned disbelief. And I was watching on Cozy, and Cozy doesn't have DVR, so I had to find whatever bullshit 3-viewer YouTube channel that Ralph still had restreaming, and then use that DVR to wind back, and then use OBS to manually record this so I could use Caden Live to trim this out, because I could not believe that they were sitting there in their room calling themselves lolcows and saying that they were going to rise up and kill all the farmers. I love that super chat at the end, by the way. General Septic for $3. This is the first super chat I'm reading in this stream, and it's not mine. Bring Sargon back. It's Gamergate 2 time. You're the man, Ralph. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking move. And go Cal Uprising. Really surreal. Especially, again, from Nick Fuentes. Like, it's just bizarre when it's like, it's someone I fucking know. It's someone who people take seriously. And he's like ranting and raving and calling himself a lolcow and aligning with Ethan Ralph. And it's like, I thought you wanted to do something with your life, bro. I almost feel bad for him because he's young. He's like 23. And I don't know. When I was that age, when I was only a couple years into running the forum, like, it was rough. It was rough dealing with all the shit that happens to you when people start fucking with you. Nick reminds me of that Pixar cow movie. Okay. So now, after this war were declared and the special military operation Z's were painted on their live streams, and they were moving in to the Kiwi farms, the undisclosed drama channel, which shall not be named, to start taking land back and to kill all farmers. Ralph decides that he is empowered. He is feeling a kind of high that he has not felt in a while. So he declares war on basically the world. He decides, he reads live on air that Odyssey, when Odyssey was asked by Andy Worski, the streaming platform he's on, that what would happen if he was flagging people. And Odyssey says, well, if he's flagging people and they're false flags, we just ignore them. And Ethan Ralph replies to the only company willing to tolerate him at this point, I wonder what you'll say when I publish the contract you offered me. And he deleted that tweet, by the way. And Ralphie asked, didn't you give Ralph a $30K exclusivity contract? To which he says no. So now he pops off at, again, Odyssey. You can see the Odyssey logo at the bottom. This is like he changes it to Cozy TV now because he's completely, Nick fucking owns this guy. He doesn't have a place to go. I think maybe Entropy, but Ralph is stuck. Like, he's basically burning one of the last bridges he has left. And he says, I start shipping out at them.
Odyssey's talking shit on Twitter. Well, they've tried to lie about the contract they offered me, quite frankly, and I have a copy of it right here in my email box. So, I'm just going to let them know that I'm like a hair away from putting that out. And there's a lot more I could say as well. A lot more. A lot more. So I'm just gonna say, think through what you're doing here, Julian. Because it's gonna be a long beating for you. A very long beating. Just think it through, brother. Yeah, Lauren Southern, I believe, runs the Odyssey account when Julian himself...
Oh, shit, sorry. I did not mean to blow your ears out. I had to make that one louder. And I think I've just deafened everybody watching the stream.
Doesn't run it? Bitch, I got something for you, too. Bitch, I got a lot for you, whore.
You know, they're fans...
Thinking I'm going to eat bugs on Odyssey? You stupid fags. Did you really think I was going to fucking debase myself? Bitch. You fucking skank. You think I'm gonna fucking eat bugs? Who the fuck are you talking to? Did you really think I was gonna eat the bugs? Oh, fake face ass bitch. So much plastic surgery you can't even hardly make a fucking goddamn fucking a grimace on your face. Eternally butthurt because your sister's so much hotter than you. I'd probably try to get some surgery, too. Fucking bitch. Try to get me to eat bugs on air and then act all offended when I didn't eat the bugs. Bitch, you can eat this dick is what you can fucking eat. E-whore, airheaded bitch. Shut the fuck up. I know that was your nasty ass who even came up with that idea. Because you ain't had an original fucking thought in your goddamn brain. Fucking nasty bitch.
He gets angrier when women make fun of him. He has something happened to him at school where like a woman bullied him, or like his mom like aggressively made fun of him to his face and emasculated him, because he gets angriest when like a woman steps up. There's another woman, by the way, who steps up to him. I don't know. Do I have that next? Oh, I do have it next. Another woman steps up to him. Actually, no. Let me finish the Lauren Southern. This is the full tweets from Odyssey about Ralph. Odyssey says, we do our very best to be fair. The deal Julian was making with Ralph was to be yourself to some boxing match that fell through. And in the past, deals for one-time events were made, exclusive debates, etc. So he was offered $30,000 to do a boxing, like a Tonka-style boxing match. He was never giving an exclusivity contract, and he never got that money. So everyone's saying that he got $30,000 for an exclusivity contract. He basically lied about that to make himself look richer. He never got that. He said that there was a thing for like a boxing match that never happened. So really crazy that he was threatening to bring that contract up, because the contract is just, you were offered money for a boxing fight that never happened. You never got it. That's crazy. And then Lauren Southern replies to Odyssey, or to Ralph, screaming about her. Damn, not sure I'm the mad one here. I've never had access to the Odyssey accounts in my life, and most people were thankful for the Odyssey Games invites. But if this dude wants to keep turning more people against him, that's his choice, I guess. Shrug. So he's mad at her just on the idea that she might be saying bad things about him. And that's not uncommon either, because he goes off on Nora. And if you're new to Ralph, or you've only, like, even like last couple of years new to Ralph, Nora is his Pakistani ex-wife. His first wife, and probably the best woman that he has ever had or ever will have. Nora helped him set up the kill stream. Nora stayed with him while he was in jail. Nora helped him stay sober and shit after he got out of jail. And then Ralph fucked up that relationship. And I remember very fondly, and I mentioned this before, but I'll repeat it, that my fondest memory of anything involving Ralph was during the Kavanaugh hearing, when Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh was going through a rigorous process in the Senate due to his history of boofing in fraternity clubs and the alleged sexual assault that was being levied against him. We sat through that together, like me, Ralph, and Nora, because Gator and Zidane couldn't be there. And Nora is just the nicest person ever. She's so nice and way out of Ralph's league, even though she's Pakistani. And after the divorce, she fucked off to the UK where she was living, where she's from, where she has citizenship, and basically cut Ralph clean. And he decided, for whatever reason, that some people talking about him must have gotten information from Nora. For whatever reason, he assumed that Nora was also after him, even though she has never said a single thing about him regarding the divorce. She disappeared like 6 months before they were formally divorced and has never commented on him since. So this is like legit schizophrenia, where he thinks that Ethan Ralph lives in constant fear that everyone he's ever known since elementary school might come out one day and say that he is a piece of shit that has wronged them. From elementary school, there are people who knew him when he was 6 years old saying that he killed their pets to spite them. So now he sits there agonizing over another blow that might befall him from everyone he has ever fucking known. One day his jailmate is going to come out and tell stories about how he was like in jail. Like at this point, everyone who has ever known the guy wants to shit on him on the internet. And paranoia and rage outs are a sign of Xanax abuse. I did not know that.
So I wake up and I see, I'm just trying to decide basically how nuclear to go on my ex-wife here live on Tequila Sunrise. And I've kind of held fire in that regard, even though probably should not have, to be quite honest with you. But I saw one of her friends on a stream last night. I didn't see it till today. But they were bullshitting about my marriage, basically, seemingly at the behest of my ex-wife, who, if you don't know, actually co-founded the kill stream with me, used to write on my site, was actually a collaborator, business partner of mine as well, basically, creative partner, at least. And so it is kind of curious. She's basically joined the Labour Party over there in the UK and has renounced all of her past. Of course, she doesn't even tell people about what she did. Bitch. She doesn't even tell people about what she did. Obviously, she keeps all that secret, and tries to act like that never happened, basically. And she wasn't involved with one of the most infamous online figures in history. Didn't contribute to their career in a key way, really. Didn't actually co-host the kill stream for countless episodes, including the whole entire early era. So it is pretty curious to me when I see that money-grubbing bitch send out her fucking minions. It is amazing to me, especially since, you know, I actually acceded to her request to take down some of her pictures from.
By the way, if on the off chance that Nick Fuentes or someone close to him is listening to this, I want you to pay very, very close attention to the second half of this video. Just open your ears, open your heart, open your mind, and pay good attention to what Ralph is about to say.
The website. I messaged the Washington Post reporter who had posted a picture of me and her during the story when I got arrested. I got him to take the picture down. I got the Washington Post to take the picture of me and her down off the Washington Post, which doesn't happen, by the way. And I argued to the guy that, oh, she's getting out of this. She's not involved with all this online stuff anymore. I did this because she whined to me in emails for help. And so I didn't even really think he would take it down, but he did. They had an editorial meeting over this picture, and they actually took the photograph down off that story. And you can go back and check the archive of the story and check the story now for proof of that. Anyway, did all that, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, please don't show my picture. Please don't put out these old episodes. And then you're sending out this motherfucker to attack me because you're too much of a coward to come out and attack me myself or yourself. Well, I'll tell you what. I got a lot more to say, bitch. A whole lot fucking more to say. And people talk about you were paid off to come on the show that last time. You were paid off, you whore. You dirty fucking whore. You were paid off to come on that show. Because you're a trifling ass bitch. You never were worth a shit. And I hope you fucking burn in hell. You fucking whore. Is that clear enough for you? Fucking bitch. So we'll wait and see if you got the stones to show your fucking face anywhere on this fucking internet, motherfucker. And then we'll go from there. But I'll just let that stand on its own until then. You motherfucker.
Actually,
now.
I think that this was the part. I have a part two. I think this is what I wanted to point out as being kind of foreshadowing.
They said Johnny Depp talks like a punch-drunk boxer here, so you don't have to sit through it all. This is him talking about Amber shitting in his bed. Now, I can't say that Nora took any dumps in the bed. I can't say that. I really can't. I'm going to withhold all other jibes and jabs. And we'll see what happens on that front. I'm really trying to... We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to curtail it there. Any other further commentary on that opening segment?
He basically says that they left on amicable terms. And she asked for his help to help remove any association between her and him, which he probably only agreed to because she's Pakistani. And he had an interest in removing the fact that he was married to a Pakistani woman because he's supposed to be a trad cath. And by the way, she was in a Muslim family. She's an apostate, but they were like in an atheist marriage. She was ex-Muslim, and she's from Pakistan. So he wants to remove that association, and that's the only reason why he agreed to help. But now he's saying, if you do anything I don't like, I'm going to go out there because I know that you're studying for a medical degree, and I'm going to make sure that everyone knows that you helped co-found the Kill Stream. I'm going to help make sure that everyone knows that you are a part of my business. You co-signed everything that I've done. You were a part of the show when it was taken down for the Holocaust denial segment. I'm gonna make sure everyone knows all this, and like that happens to everybody. This has happened. They got divorced like 6 years ago now. It was a long ass fucking time ago, and he's still gonna hold this over her head forever. And not even because she's doing anything, but because his paranoid Swiss cheese brain makes him believe that she's doing something. And that's you, Nick Fuentes. That's you, Dick Masterson. I hope that you love this guy so much that you want him to be a part of your life until he dies of his overdoses, because this is you. Now, if you do anything that he doesn't like, he's going to bring out whatever the fuck that he's seen that makes you look terrible. He's going to be a complete fucking douchebag and say, like, yeah, you co-signed that. You covered that up. You were a part of that for sure. And he'll make sure that everyone knows about it. He'll personally write journalists exposés about himself and you and your time with him to make sure that you suffer for having associated with him. And this is why people in your fan base are like, why are you associating with such an awful fucking person? Because it's obvious, because he does this to everybody. Every platform he's been on. He shit on Stream Me, he shit on DLive, he shit on Odyssey, he's going to shit on Cozy TV eventually, he shit on his ex-wife, he shit on every woman that he's ever been with. Every single girlfriend, as soon as she gets replaced, he's shitting on her. He's calling her a fucking whore, an old bitch, an abortionist, like anything you can think of. And it's like, how does he get away with this? How do people? I really can't. I can't decide which is more impressive. I'm gonna put it up to a poll. Which is more impressive? First, his ability to destroy everything he touches, specifically everything he touches, or B, that people keep associating with him. Tell me which is more impressive, that he destroys everything that he touches, or that even though he does this, he still finds simps willing to associate with him. I'm really split. It's really hard for me to decide which is more impressive. And some guy is begging me to look up the article that he wrote about Nora. Let's see here. Can I find this? Okay. Oh. The Final Farewell, published on February 20th, 2020. I guess it wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it's been forever. Here, wait, hold up. This is a suggestion of some random in the chat. Here, Sad Violin on YouTube. This is perfect. Okay, yeah. Sets the mood. Almost 5 years ago, I met the best person I have ever known. The first time I talked to her was on air, in front of you all. In some ways, it was kind of a fairy tale. But we're in real life, as you know. Ordinarily, it wouldn't really be any of your business what goes on in my marriage, but I've always been real with the viewers and readers, so I'm writing you this statement today. Nora and I have gotten divorced. We're still in love, and we care for each other, and will always be friends, but we're headed down different two paths. I used to make fun of these types of statements, and I probably still will. In this case, however, it's 100% true. Our life together, due to these divergent paths, has simply become unmanageable. There is no smoking gun or juicy dirt here. It's just not going to work, and we have to move on. I'm a tabloid guy, so I realize how this will be played by some. I do not begrudge them. I have no ill will towards Nora. She's stuck by me throughout the toughest time in my life, and I will always be grateful for that. Now it's time for us to part ways, but I absolutely could not have accomplished what I have without her. I wish her the best, as she does me. I could wax poetic about her qualities for some time, but I'll just say that she's awesome, and I want her to have all the success in the world. I guess that's about it. Thank you for the support. It means a lot to me, as it meant a lot to her over the years. I won't have much more to say on this topic, well, besides the occasional self-deprecating joke, but I appreciate you reading this here today. As always, the show must go on, and it will. Thank you. Sincerely, Ethan Ralph.
Is that clear enough for you? Fucking bitch. So we'll wait and see if you got the stones to show your fucking face anywhere on this fucking internet, motherfucker, and then we'll go from there. But I'll just let that stand on its own until then. You motherfucker. Now.
Thank you to the random guy in chat who suggested reading that. That was pretty good. I wouldn't have thought of that on my own. Okay, one more thing to poke fun at. And this time it's not even at Ralph's expense. Ralph has decided to get into a fight with Randbot. And if there's anyone on the internet dumber than Ethan Ralph, it's Randbot. Randbot is like the beta model of Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph is the Ralpha male. Randbot is like the Ralpha male still in development. He's a prototype. They didn't give him the best parts. Everything's kind of loose and you know, hackneyed. But he's still trying his best to one day become a true Alpha male. So Ethan and Rand had a little spat on their podcast, and Rand is just such a fucking idiot. And it's just like two drunks slurring at each other incomprehensibly. But Randbot, just, he has no, like, It makes me feel bad for Ralph because Randbot will come back to anything Ralph says with a total logical non sequitur. It's like, what are you talking about? And Ralph is like running his hands through his hair, like looking up at the ceiling, like in pain, trying to have a conversation with this fucking mongoloid. And it's like, yeah, buddy, I know how that feels. I've had a conversation with Randbot too, and it really sucked.
He kill you.
Oh, but this is them talking about setting up a boxing match or some shit, and Ralph basically just says he wants to murder him.
He kill you in the middle of the octagon.
After having your head used as a
just tell me,
Rand, just tell me
what you need. Rand, do you want to come or not? Do you want to come here to the United States or not? Okay, well, what do you need?
Do you want to come?
Okay. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna come. Do you want to come? I'm gonna come.
Oh, I'm sure you'll come.
I'm sure you'll come.
Here's the bit that eludes me. Why are you so convinced that you're not going to get the shit kicked out of you?
Rand, what the thing is, me
You're
and
a fat
you,
old man.
I don't give a fuck. I can die in that fucking ring and I will have lived. Do you understand? I'm not a bitch like you. I would damn sure love to fucking die on my feet, you fucking
You're
coward.
going to
You
lose.
fucking idiots. I would fucking take pride in you killing me in that ring. That's the difference between me and you motherfucker. You fucking
really
coward.
are a
I
dumb
want to
nigger.
choke the life out of your fucking goddamn throat, you fucking piece of shit. Tell me what you fucking need to get to the United States or shut your fucking mouth.
I want you to kill me.
What do you fucking need, bitch?
Oh, I thought he was
Just
done.
tell me the number, tell me the fucking price, because I want to fucking kill you in the middle, legally, in the middle of that fucking goddamn ring. You tell me what the fuck you need, bitch.
You're not even going to land a hit on me.
Rand is so boring. Like, I can't tell if he's in stunned disbelief at what Ralph is saying or if he's just too fucking stupid to say anything in reply because he's just so dumb. But yeah, he's just sitting there like, yeah, I want you to fucking kill me. I'm fucking begging you. I'll pay you to fly out here. I'll pay for the gun and the bullets. I'm begging you on my hands and fucking knees. Tears in my eye, Rambot 2020. Put the gun to my head and pull the trigger, you son of a bitch, and I'll fucking thank you from it. I'll tell you what. It's like, whoa. Calm down there. You need counseling, Ralph. Instead of buying a plane ticket, maybe you should buy some better help.
You did save everything on him.
I didn't. That's untrue. I didn't. Actually,
Yeah, that's
at
why.
all.
That's why you dumped his address and his face and everything about him.
I didn't dump his face. I dumped his area where he was at, and I don't regret it at all. And I'd do it again.
No, you do regret it, Ralph. You just can't publicly admit it.
I
That
don't
was a bad
regret
move,
it,
and even
Rand.
you know it was.
I'm telling you now, as fucking honest as I could ever be, I don't regret
As
it at
honest
all.
as you could ever be.
If I could get away with it, I'd put
to the phrasing,
Rand.
Tim.
If I could kill him without penalty, I'd kill him.
Wow.
I'm dead serious.
Would you kill me without penalty, Ralph?
Probably
Would
not.
you kill
But
Jim
you're
without penalty?
yeah, I think so.
How many people would you kill if you could get
Quite a
away with it?
quite a few. But thankfully, there's laws out there, stopping folks like me. But if they said, Ralph, here's the gun.
Have the laws stopped you in the past?
if they said,
apparently you have a problem with laws.
if they said, Ralph, here's the gun, there's no penalty. There's no nothing. Do what you need to do. Yeah, I would.
I'm on Ralph's side on that one.
Wow, you sound like a great advocate for a conservative platform.
Rand is so fucking dumb. Rand is like too dumb to feel pain. It's like even vegetarians will sometimes eat fish because it's like, they've done studies to prove scientifically that a fish is too fucking dumb. It doesn't have the neural capacity to feel pain. It has like reactions, like knee-jerk reactions, instead of having like a proper cortex to feel pain. So vegetarians like, whatever, they're too stupid. You can eat Rand. If you're a vegetarian, you can actually eat Rand. He's too dumb to feel pain. You can just start cooking him live. And he'll be like, well, this is one heck of a conservative barbecue that you have out here. And he just wouldn't care. He's like, shut up. Shut up, Rand.
She's gonna be dripping. We know she's gonna be dripping while I'm beating your fucking face, you faggot. She's gonna be absolutely just losing her fucking mind while I'm pounding your face in, bitch.
For a round trip to America, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. I get to punch out Oliver Twist, and then I get to hang out with all the people who said they wanted to take me shooting. I'm going to have a great trip.
Is
to
that
America.
right? You gonna bring your
Let's
bitch?
make it happen.
You gonna bring the big bitch? I know she has to have 2 plane tickets, but I can front that if you need it.
She's actually been to America before.
Oh, is that right?
I've only been to
She
Hawaii.
looks like she's been to America.
I'm looking forward to having
the best retort ever. She's like, yeah, your wife's fat. Well, she's been to America before. Yeah, she looks like she's been to America before. That's just funny. I like that. I don't think it's like unintentionally funny. Ralph couldn't be that funny if he tried.
A trip to America. All I have to do is beat up.
She looks like an American, to be honest with you. What happened there? I thought they were skinny down in Australia. You used to
make this happen.
You used to talk shit about Americans being fat. She looks like she is from America, to be honest with you.
Lead time to get into shape.
Yeah, she looks like she's from the USA. Is that the case? I don't know. I couldn't say, but
you also said she's a Jew.
She definitely. Well, okay. What does that change? There's a lot of Jews from the USA too. You idiot.
There's more Jews in the U.S. than there is in Israel, just so you know, in case you were unaware. Oh, by the way, I never mentioned this, but this is Ralph's fourth tit. He has 2 boobs on each side, like a pig. Like an actual pig, chat. Can you believe that? Unreal. By the way, let me just pull this clip up on the side, because I do not want to accidentally show it on stream, because I think it has docs on it. But there's a video. Randbot to this day denies that this picture of him and this woman is him, or he looks like a Christian doing this creepy. I know Nick Fuentes calls out people for referencing Christian, but he really does look like Chris there. Let's see, Rand. There is a video of Rand talking, and it's like his face and everything. And if I can find this just real quick.
I'm not.
Here, this is, I think Flamenco recorded this in private or something.
I'm not a big boy. I'm an extremely middle-sized boy.
Okay, look. I'll just play it again without the audio because the audio is irrelevant. That is not lip sync. That's not like a fake lip syncing video. And then you compare it to him, and it's like, that's definitely the same fucking person. And Rand denies it and says that the voice is just similar because they both sound Australian. And it's like, there's no fucking way. That is definitely the same person. Are you... But I don't know. He's dumb. He just thinks like, oh, if I deny it, then it's fine. But it's crazy. He really is the dumbest fucker in the sector. He's the dumbest fucker in the sector, and it's like embarrassing watching his streams because he has like anime girls waving Nazi flags and shit. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but even by Himmler's very bizarre definition of like Indo-Aryan from Tibetans are real like Ubermensch and shit. Japan still isn't Tibet. I don't know if they have any swastikas on their pottery. It's a real stretch to say that they're honorary Aryans, Rand. Just very, very stupid person. Lay off Himmler? No, I will not. I bet you Himmler had cat ears like Nick Fuentes. Oh, and one more person to make fun of since I'm on a roll. Dick, just very briefly, I'm going to read these 2 tweets, and then I'm just going to talk about them for a little bit. This is Dick Masterson. The Fuentes-Medicare debate is going to be interesting, I think. Unlike slander and libel, false flagging is essentially speech and is treated as a mortal sin by people who are still platform, precisely because it is so devastating. The morality is not shared by the deplatformed. And then in a reply, Flamenco asks, fair enough, though. Well, this is not a direct reply, but in the conversation chain, Flamenco asks, fair enough, though, if you did, do you think the DMCA would be warranted and in good faith? Asking specifically about that specific DMCA. To which Dick replies, if I was streaming Maddox's content and commenting on it, I would expect to justify DMCA and issues with Patreon. That's why I've never done it. I'm not a lawyer. That's just how I would expect things to go. Same as a movie commentary track. Number one, I think like Robot 9000, the type of commentary is absolutely transformative, and the fact that it's not considered fair use is horrific to me. Number two, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Dick's Patreon content, but as someone who followed it for quite a bit, like I started showing up on the podcast around like episode 40, and I left at like episode 170, I think is the timeline. His Patreon content is nothing but commentary over Maddox stuff. It's not like live commentary. But, you know, to say that he doesn't do that, that's literally the entirety of his bonus episodes are all commentary over over Maddox's streams and Maddox's podcasts and things related to Maddox, and it's just how can you unironically say this? I'm forced to assume that he's trolling. I'm forced to assume that this is not a legitimate opinion, and he's saying things that he knows is hypocritical because for whatever reason, him and Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes and Baked Alaska have decided that being hypocritical to piss people off is funny. And it's what they're going to do to get attention now. And it's really perplexing because I think universally, nobody likes a hypocrite. Like, nobody likes someone who says one thing and does another, you know? That's, like, built into our brains to sort of detest that. And you know, it's like, okay, so in the mind of Dick Masterson, cuties is quintessential is free speech. DMCA abuse is free speech. But commenting over a live stream is not free speech. How does this work? Like, honestly, I am forced to assume that this is a deliberately retarded take to to get attention, which I'm playing into, to be fair, if that is the case. But if that is the case, like, for real, dude, grow up. Grow up. You're like 40. You shouldn't be saying shit that is this retarded. You should be over that hump where you say obviously retarded things to get attention from people, from strangers on the internet. Like, for real, just get the fuck over this phase of your life where you're gonna be like, yeah, the most artistic expression I can think of is flagging someone's YouTube channel. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? How avant-garde, Mr. Dick Masterson. Your featurette in the art museum about flagging YouTube videos really spoke to the soul about the contemporary challenges that we face as a digital society. Bravo, Masterson. We'll fly you back to LA and we're gonna hook you up with all your friends in LA who've cut contact with you. Like, fuck off. It's so gay. It's so gay. People need to stop being gay. There's one guy that is a Ralph Pay Pig, and he super chats like $5 every so often just to say faggots are retarded. Faggots are retarded. It's like dude donates $5 to say faggots are retarded. It's like, yeah, I agree with that guy. That guy knows what he's talking about. Okay. Oh, and one other thing. I wrote a post about this and I left a comment. I'm just going to freestyle my little rant here. Beyond just being, like, juvenile, this position, I think that there is a unifying factor between Baked Alaska, Nick Fuentes, Ethan Ralph, and Dick Masterson, in that they all have a real dead-end mentality. And this is a mentality where you're down bad. Things have happened. You're not in the position that you wanted to be, and you're depressed about it. Like, Nick Fuentes went to the Capitol. Trump lost. Trump wasn't as good a president as anybody had hoped. He's libeled, slandered, whatever the fuck, as a cat boy. People assume he's gay, and for the sake of argument, I'll just assume that these are all false allegations. Though there was one of the guys who built the Kiwi Farm server that I know very well. One of the guys is not very well. We're not like friends, but I trust him highly. They are professionals and they have a professional reputation, which I trust. And Drybones said that he's a gay guy. He's a bodybuilder, and in his gay bodybuilding community, which originated from Fit, I'm pretty sure, or from 8chan's Fit. Nick Fuentes confided in one of their people that he's gay. So I don't know if that's true, but if Drybones says it's true, I believe Drybones that this person did tell him that. I don't think that he's making it up. But it's like, okay, so he has these allegations and his movement's losing steam and he has to simp for Russia and he's thinking about moving to Russia. And it's like, dude, I've been there. I get called horrible things all the fucking time. I get called things because of shit that is now so old. They're older than I was when they happened. Like 15 years ago, old shit that gets brought up all the fucking time, and you just have to take it on the chin, and it never goes away, and it never will, and it's just like you just have to deal with it. This is life. This is the internet. This is how people are. But he thinks, oh, this is so bad, and I'm gonna flee. I'm gonna go to Ukraine. I'm gonna go to Russia. I'm gonna build my life up there. And then you have Ethan Ralph, who's like, I got a child. I'm in custody battles. I've burned all these bridges. My ex-wife, the only woman I've actually cared about, left me because I'm a fucking loser. And then you have Dick Masterson who's like, oh, well, I defended cuties for a couple weeks, and then I let a bunch of pedophiles on my show, and all my friends in LA won't talk to me. And then you have Baked Alaska. It's like, I got arrested, and then I had to sell out all my pay pigs information to the feds, and now everyone thinks I'm a glowy. Even if that didn't happen, now everyone thinks you're glowy. And, you know, I can't do anything because I'm on probation or a suspended sentence, so I just have to sit in my house and play video games and gamble and drink and just be a fucking loser. Do a couple hardcore dedicated pay pigs. Things, they all say in unison after these rants, things just couldn't get any worse. So I might as well be the biggest faggot that I possibly can. Who cares what people think about me at this point? Who cares if I'm a hypocrite? Who cares if I have no principles? Who cares if I go out and aggravate the fuck out of everybody? Because they just couldn't get any worse. And you're wrong. If you find yourself in that mentality where you're like, things could not get any worse, which all four of these people, I believe, are in that position, you're wrong. And if you act in this presupposition that your life is already as bad as it can be, you will be proven wrong so hard that you will be shocked by it. Your life will end up fucked up in a way you can't even comprehend, in a way that would shock you. You think like, no, surely this is a dependable part of my life that I can rely on going into the future. And then you act like no, things can't get any worse. You take that as a fact. You behave in a way where you assume that things just can't get any worse. And then you're like, oh, the foundations of that I built for myself have all eroded away from under me. Now I'm actually truly fucked. And then you think, because you haven't learned your lesson, like Ethan Ralph, things couldn't get any worse. And you continue to act in this way, and then more erodes away. And eventually, you just find yourself like Ethan Ralph. You're fighting for custody. You're a convicted felon. You've got May as your permanent fiance, because that woman will never be married, ever. And now you have a daughter that you don't even like because you wanted a son, and your son you can't see. Like, and he still hasn't learned. And he's still going to act like things just couldn't get any worse. And it's like, if you're in that position, get out of it. Snap out of it, because you're fucking up. You're going to continue to fuck up, and you're going to be shocked when you're 40, 50 years old how bad things have actually gotten. And you might as well just kill yourself at that point. And all four of them are in this mentality. Nick Fuentes is the one that I feel has an opportunity to fix it. Like, Nick hasn't fucked up that bad, and it's like, if he wants to be a serious politician, there's still time to correct that. But, it helps when you can say, oh, that stupid shit I did was 7 years ago, it was 10 years ago, it was 15 years ago. If it was a couple years ago, like with flamenco, it's harder to say, like, oh, it was when you're 26 and doing it, it's harder to say, like, oh, that's just like, you're young. Fuentes, you're 23. You can cut your ties with the fucking dead weight. You can take yourself more seriously. You can establish principles to operate by. And you can't. I think that he could overcome it if he wanted to. If he does, is a question. I don't think that it is that he will. But it's hard to say because I don't know. But it's a thing of heart and mind. Who wants to live to be 50? That's a Ralph male mentality right there. Josh, stop being nice. Nick has no chance. Well, I don't know him. Like I said, he could have a chance. He could not have a chance. But I really think, because I was there. Like, there was a time when the Vordrax stuff was happening, and I was losing contact with my family, and I lost a bunch of money, and there was no income coming in for 2 or 3 years. And I moved to Ukraine, and I was thinking about expatriating to Russia or something. And I was like, things just can't get any worse. And but I never let that guide me. I never let that be like, oh, I can really start pissing people off now that I'm in Ukraine. I can start DDoSing people, and I can start swatting people and stuff, and I can start breaking the law, and I'll just be a renegade criminal. Why not? Because things just can't get any worse. And it's like, no, I decided against that. I decided, no, I'm gonna build pillars to my life. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna cross these, and then 10 years from now, nobody will ever be able to say that you're a hypocrite because you didn't do this. And it's worked out so far. And I'm very happy with how things are going for me. And I think that Nick Fuentes is around the same age. I think I was 24, 25 when this stuff was happening. And I was in a difficult place. And I was thinking about just, going off and doing whatever the fuck I wanted. And I'm glad I didn't. So that is the moral of the story. For Dick and Ralph, and maybe Baked Alaska. Baked is near 42, right? It's like, you should have realized this 10 years ago. Grow the fuck up. You're not an agent provocateur on the internet when you say stupid shit. You're just a retard. But oh well. Nick is a good guy, just making bad choices. Perhaps. Like I said, I don't know him, and this is why a lot of this is taking me by surprise. It's like, how is it? I've only heard good things from him. Like, I still reference that No E-Girls clip all the time because I find it hilarious. And now it's like, how are you in Ralph's pocket? How did this happen? And then he looks at, I know what his response would be to me. I said, like, oh, well, now you're moralizing. The doxing website owner is moralizing about bad associates. Like, oh my God, I can't believe what Ethan Ralph did. I'm like, okay, it's your choice. But I never when I talk to people and I try to be sincere, I never try to change their mind on the spot. I just like to put ideas out there. I like to germinate little seeds of different ideas, because you'd be surprised at how people change, and they'll never admit it to you either. They'll never admit it to you, like, yeah, you said this thing 2 years ago and it didn't click then, but then I thought about it for a long time and now I've decided that's the right way. They'll never admit that. But helping people can be its own reward, chat. It can be its own reward. Let me see. Anything funny in the super chats? I'm gonna skim through it real quick. This is the end of my content. In case you're thinking of clicking off, I will talk about the debate. I didn't even mention the debate. The debate's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight on Friday, and I'll mention if I'll be covering that in a second. Let me check the super chats and see if there's anything worth reading. Hey Josh, thanks for all you do. Really like the corn hoodie. Thank you. Ralph sharded. This is true. Could Nick be setting Ralph up to publicly explode in order to get viewership for Cozy? Could Nick be sacrificing Ralph the Corn for a profit by building him up and setting him loose? No, I don't think so. I think that Nick will find himself significantly disadvantaged when Ralph decides to turn on him, like with Nora. Anonymous says, faggots are retarded. I agree. Cum Pillow Gamer says, thanks for running the website. Thank you. Cheers to the content. Best war correspondent in the Uprising. No. And we should get Ghost to join the Lolcow revolution. And okay, I think that's what I'll read. I don't want to sit here and read super chats. I don't like that. I'll find an even balance window. The path update. There is no path update. Nothing is settled. I told him they put something up, asked something. I said no. I told him why. And I haven't heard back, but that does not mean that I won't hear back, because I waited over a week last time for the response. I will say that I'm very convinced that it's them. I don't think that it's a joke. I don't think that I'm being tricked by someone social engineering. It's a real lawyer, real correspondence with a real attorney. I told my attorney, be careful, make sure that you're corresponding with a real person and not someone playing a prank. And he said, I double checked, and we had a phone call, and I contacted his real email off his site, and I looked up his bar association number in California for it's real, for real, as far as I can tell. No, maybe he's been employed by someone playing a prank, and he's gotten put on retainer by someone pretending to be a company. Don't think that's the case. I've ever thought about inviting Medicare on Maddie at some point. Genuine question out of sheer curiosity. Medicare has said that he has no interest in talking to me, and I really don't have anything that I feel I should ask him. And I don't invite myself onto other people's streams, and I don't invite people onto my streams unless it's like something relevant to something happening, like Low Tax's girlfriend was accusing him and stuff. It's sort of weird. Me and Jim, we're just parallel to each other, and we don't really cross paths, and that might be for the best, to be honest with you. We're on different paths that just do not intersect for whatever reason. And the few times that we've talked to each other, I didn't get any vibe of hostility, and that's what it is. Hat feud, exactly. Chantal update. There is no Chantal update. Chantal is still fat and sassy, and she might be back with Nadir. And end of story. Let's see. Patches update. I'm in the process of transitioning, not that way, moving. So I don't have an update on the patches yet. I think everyone has gotten the silver. I think the silver stuff is finally fucking done. I'm going to wait another week to make sure, because when I delete the orders, I don't want to have to restore them again. Shortwave update. I'm working on getting my shortwave data center bunker in Alaska. Don't you worry. One day I'll get it up. Talked about Boogie. I heard he died. Sneed 4.0, there is no update on Sneed 4. I haven't worked on it in quite a while. I'm sorry. I feel bad. Are you okay? The stream sent. Thank you for reminding me. So the debate or whatever, the argument, I don't know what the fuck you want to call it, the pissing match, is at 9 p.m. on D Live and Cozy, hosted by Miguel or some shit. I'm sure it will be stream sniped by PPP on the Kino Casino. It might be re-hosted by Mediker. I don't know. It's at 1 a.m. my time. No promises. I'm going to see if I can stay up till 1. If I can't, and be like, I don't want to be like half asleep when I'm doing it. Like, what's the point? If I can, if I'm up by like midnight or 11 p.m. and I feel like, yeah, this is going to work out, then maybe I can do it, and I'll put a thing up advertising that it will go live. If not, it won't happen. I'm sorry. What debate? Like I said, Mediker and Nick will be arguing 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Cozy and D Live. Yeah, I might watch. Like, if I can't snipe it, yeah, I feel bad because we hit both the DDoS goal and there's the Gumroad supporters. I might just do a recording of it, and maybe I'll stream it tomorrow. At this time, like, who knows? But I'll try to get something out to satisfy people because I feel bad for not meeting those obligations like I should. I would prefer the archives channel stay up instead of using it as the crudgel. Game stream when? I don't know. Not until I move. So next month. Okay, I think I'm stalling here. I don't want to drag this out any longer. So I will see you guys when I see you. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe next Friday. And until then, take it easy. Where is my outro song? You know what? Yeah, I'll play this one. Okay, bye-bye. Wait.
These walls around me start to bend, and I'm with her again. Intoxication. This is intoxication. I'm swerving down this road, my friend. Tell me, where does it end? Intoxication. This is intoxication.